have a concept. You have a great concept. You guys are doing it, man. And it's an honor for me to just be, you know, a small rock, man, in your mountain. I'm going to pop a top in your honor.
Mr. Doc Walker blessed us with his presence and knowledge.
We want to welcome in our next special guest, Haley Skarupa. She's a three-time world champion in women's ice hockey and most recently won Olympic gold with Team USA.
The Cap Stadium Series is definitely my favorite, obviously. I'm a huge Caps fan, I always have been, and to be there at that game with my teammates and for us to bring, you know, our gold medals to there and share it with everyone in this area was really, really special for me, and just the support and it's been tremendous from everyone in this area, and you can feel that there at that game.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network.
And welcome to episode 368 of Sports on the Hill podcast. This is actually our 9-year Streamaversary, and we've got a lot of things to celebrate tonight, including a lot of awesome hockey stuff that we'll get into in just a moment. I had double muted myself. All right, there you go. And yeah, we've got a perfect week for the Capitals, even though it was some crazy shenanigans that happened in those games to lead up to those wins. We'll get through all of that. We'll talk about Ovechkin only being, it's just really amazing. He is only 9 goals away now. So we're celebrating 9 years. It's the 9-year Streamaversary, the end of season 9, and he's 9 away. And 9 is my lucky number for people that don't know. So I liked how that all lined up for us tonight. So that'll be great. We're going to talk with this wonderful roundtable about the last week of hockey. Then Carol, CP3, who we haven't seen in quite some time, is going to join us to talk about the state of the Capitals, and then all of us will take a look at the upcoming next 3 weeks, because we're taking a big break between the end of season 9 and season 10. We'll all take bets on whether or not he'll break it during the break or if he'll wait until season 10. Yeah, and then we'll just talk about 9 years of covering this team, which is great that we've had all of you guys on for, you know, I've talked to Janaea for over 9 seasons worth of hockey, and Gil the last, 6 or 7, I think it was, for us on this program, and C4 the last, I don't want to say 5 or 6 years, so like, it's been really fun to talk hockey with all of you guys. We'll bring in Carol back in. We also have Champ coming on at the end of that second hour with Arun, and we're going to talk about some DC sports news with Carol. We'll talk about all the latest Commanders news, the Wizards, this live game that they're only down 5 points with 5 minutes remaining in the third. We'll talk about that and their last week, and DC United's first victory of the season. So lots of fun stuff, and then we'll end with Champ and I talking wrestling, and maybe even doing some art streams. I've got it set up now that with this iPad can wirelessly stream into my setup, and I can now draw live on air, which I'm going to be doing. For people that don't know, I'm actually a part of a streamathon, and it's going to be 9 hours of streaming to celebrate 9 years. So it's starting tonight, these 3 hours, and then I'm going to do 3 2-hour streams of doing art during the course of the next week, leading up to the 17th, which is the actual official 9-year anniversary. We're not doing a nighttime stream next week. I'm actually going to be at a Disturbed concert in the Pit, getting some anger out. But so that'll be a fun time next week. But I will be doing a morning stream, and at the end of the show I will talk more about the times. But basically tomorrow it's 10 to noon. On Friday it's noon to 2 Eastern, and then on next Monday it's also going to be 10 to noon again. So lots of art streams. You can watch me learn how to do Procreate and design art on a new medium. It's kind of fun. I drew a really crude Mario picture, first time trying to draw on it. Very simple because it's Mario Day for people who don't know, March the 10th. Yeah, so that's all of the news part of the beginning of this episode. With that, I'm going to bring in Janaea and ask, how have you been?
I've been good. Really enjoyed this last week of Caps hockey. Obviously, the Ovechkin chase. It's kind of a nice distraction from everything else that's going on in the world. So just love to see what he and the Caps are doing. And I'm trying not to be too distracted right now. I've got this Ottawa Detroit game on Amazon Prime in the background, so it's a big one for the wild card. But it's just been really enjoying watching the Caps play lately. They had that little losing streak, and now they're right back on track. So it's been great.
Yeah, it's funny how we kind of covered the bump in the road last week, and then we literally covered them coming out of it, right? So it was an interesting way for that first game to go, because we had it and then we lost it and then we found it again in the shootout, and we got to have Gil do a play-by-play last week, so that's always fun. And that's actually our last Monday game, unless they go to the playoffs and play on Mondays, which is possible, and possible we would change dates of our show if that happens. It's an exciting time to be a Caps fan. They're the number one team in the entire league right now, which is wild. I don't necessarily love the President's Trophy, but you want to have games in hand and games and points in hand at this point in the season. I cannot be complaining where we are, and so I'm super happy about that. I am going to bring in Gil. Gil, let us people know what's happening in the Power Play Point podcast this week.
So yes, with the mermaid on vacation and me giving our other co-host C4 letting her be on the mend. Although it sounds like you're ready to come back to duty. So you're looking pretty good. So
thank you.
Hoping to have you on soon. But we have a second appearance of another. I'm hoping to be regular co-host, because I think she's been doing a kick-ass job breaking stuff down. Ginny Clausen joins me again. We break down the 4 games, including yesterday's matinee against the Kraken. We begin with a message that deals with something that happened earlier in the week that involved the Caps and national media. I'm not going to say what. I think everybody knows what. I don't want to waste time with what, but I have a little something to say about that. It's more towards people who seem to hate this franchise and this team for seemingly no reason at all. That's really what we talk about. And then go on to cover the 4 games, of course, and then we talk about the loan deadline deal that they made for Anthony Beauvillier and our hopes for that. And that's what's covered. Yeah.
It sounds like a very full show, so definitely people should go check that out. If they can always go to SportsOTHP.com. I need to update the webpage with some of the latest episodes. Also, news and notes, we're no longer doing the audio podcast. We're moving on. We share this stream to 4 streaming platforms. People can watch it or put it in behind the scenes if they want to listen to it. It's just, I've decided for season 10, I will, during the next couple of weeks, post the rest of these episodes, but I think I'm done with it going forward. But it's a video podcast now. It's no longer an audio podcast. We did that for 9 years, which is a good run. We've got a bunch of stuff that I want to get into here. I do want to say first, C4, I'm so happy you're back with us.
Thank you.
People don't necessarily know the whole story, but like on the way to coming on our show one night, you had the accident, which I was like, yes. I was like, I couldn't believe that. And then we got the 411, and I'm so happy that you seem like you're doing better, because I was so scared. I was like, what do you mean that I was so rattled. I was like, so I'm happy that you're okay.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Yeah.
So for those of you out there who don't know, I was going to be on the show 2 weeks ago. And I was on my way home from bowling with some friends and was in a car accident, and my arm is broken. And I had surgery this past a week ago tomorrow. They put in a plate and 8 screws. And but other than that, I'm doing okay. Just dealing with the insurance mess and trying to figure out what's going down with my car and if I need to get a new one and all that fun stuff. So it's been a hassle. That part's a hassle, but as far as physically, I'm doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, you look great.
Thank you.
You look great. You wouldn't know.
Mentally is a whole different issue, but that's That's for me and my therapist to figure out.
Yes. Well, hopefully that gets sorted out soon, but I'm happy to see that
Yes.
you're at least able to do this and get some distraction and have some fun talking some caps with us. I am going to switch my screen up right here to our hockey one and see if I can do a screen share, Zoom.
I was actually supposed to go to the game on Friday night, but obviously I did not.
Yes. Oops. Let me see. Is this the right one? I think I did it right. Sorry, I'm trying to switch screens on the fly. All right, there we go. Yes, I know. I feel bad that you weren't able to go, but I'm happy that Gil was able to go to that game, and we'll definitely chat with him about that one as well. Gil, why don't you take it away, and here we'll let you start with the first goal of the game.
Yep. So it looks like the first game we're going to cover is the Wednesday night game up in Madison Square Garden against the Rangers.
Sorry, I should mention that if they want coverage of the Monday game, they just watch last week's episode since it was happening during it, and you can see a very live reaction to it. So that's why we're not going to cover that one today. But anyway, yes, Rangers game.
Early in the game, very early in the game, Caps get a face-off deep in the zone. Dubois wins it back to Willie really quick towards the net, and then Dubois just flings it into the net. And I have a special message there for Rangers fans because they're not the nicest people.
Preach.
That was the opening goal. Great start to the game by our Caps.
Yep. So there you go. Screw you, Rangers and your fans. I like it. All right, I'll go to Janaea first. What were some of your thoughts on this first goal?
Yeah, just a great start by the Caps. I love to see them getting off to a quick start in this game because they haven't been doing that a lot recently. They've been for sure coming from behind a lot. So it was nice to see them get a quick start on this one. You love getting the early goal against Shesterkin because sometimes like the longer that you go through the game without scoring one, like he just completely locks it down. So it's nice to get that early one for sure. And nice to see PLD specifically getting another one because he's been on fire lately with just racking up points.
Yeah, for sure. C4, what are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Janaea said, it's really nice to see PLD racking up the points and stuff. And what it's also nice to see again is those down and dirty in front of the net goals again. I've missed those, so it's nice to see them doing that. I kind of was in and out through this game because I had surgery the night before and I was still a little in pain. So I was the good drugs. But did I say that loud? But yeah, no, it's really good, like Janaea said, to see them get that early goal and get the momentum going and stuff, and for the most part keep it going throughout the whole game.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get to the next goal. So the next one is an Ovechkin goal on the power play. At the time, the Rangers had taken a 2-1 lead into the third, and Gil, I'll let you take it from there.
Okay, so a quick draw here by McMichael to actually he loses it. Frank kind of recovers, shoves it over to McMichael, who gets it over to Mangiapane. He dives for it and misses, but puts enough of it to get it towards Ovechkin, who basically picks up the garbage and finishes it off.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, it's another notch in his gun belt. And yeah, I think that speaks for itself.
Oh my God.
I'm going to hold it here just because,
Hold it here.
Hold it there. I will tell you one thing. It was such a nice change to not have Ray Ferraro calling that game because Ray Ferraro would. Oh God.
I'm definitely. You're preaching to the choir, but as goofy as he can be, I don't think he'd have said anything that stupid.
No, he wouldn't have. He just would not have said anything.
He would not have said anything favorable about the Caps at all. He would have gone on and on and on and on about the Rangers is what he does.
Yes. Or the Penguins or whoever we happen to be playing.
So stupid and so completely unjustified, that comment. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, Gil, you and I have talked about this a million times. Like, it's like, I think I posted the heat map of like the location of all of Ovechkin's goals, like all of his 800 and I think it was 85 at this point, all of his 885 goals, like the heat map of where he's scored them from. And it's like less than 200 of them are from that left circle. Like, so he has 600 plus goals, almost 700 goals from elsewhere. So like try to pretend like that's the only place he ever scores from, and he just never moves around the ice, and that's all he does. Like, it's ridiculous.
No,
I saw another commentator to talk about how there should be an asterisk because the number of empty net goals, just afterwards.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah.
Because he has like 5 or 6 more than Gretzky now. Like, oh my God, every goal Gretzky ever scored was an empty net goal.
And
every
they're hard empty net goals, and they're in tight games that they're often maybe a deciding factor in some of those games. So like,
and half the time it's not like he's even trying to get it in the net. He's just shooting it down there and it goes in. Or more correctly, it looks like he's not trying to get it into the net. He could very well be trying to get it in there.
And Gretzky literally scored 894 empty net goals. That's I don't understand how anybody can say like, oh, there's an asterisk on this or that or whatever, because like, look at they post that all the time, the era adjusted goals, like Ovi's over 1,000 now for era adjusted goals. And Gretzky was somewhere in the 700s. Like, Gretzky's barely in the top 10 because the era that he played in, it was so easy to score. Like, the goalies are out there with just like newspapers strapped to their shins for pads.
Pretty much.
He's second in goals per game this season. Second.
Yeah.
The whole league.
Yeah.
39 years old.
Yeah, it's insane.
But yeah. Anyway,
I think he really likes having the young guns around because he's been playing the younger this team has gotten, the better Ovi has played.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years.
Rejuvenated him, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. But I just want to
came in like a wrecking ball. Sorry, I had to say it.
No, that's fine. If you weren't gonna, I would have.
Exactly.
That was fantastic.
Yeah. So it's so great. I love that Tom Wilson wins this in overtime, and he just runs over the players, and it's fantastic.
And that pass from Strome. Holy crap!
It was really incredible. I'm so impressed with this team. It seems they seem to get better each week. It's weird because I'm just kind of waiting for that time in February and January. We're supposed to have that like letdown time, and it didn't happen this season. So like, I hope they can sustain this. But like, they're playing great hockey. I mean, the fact to come back in this game down 2-1 going into the third, force overtime. Tom Wilson, 28th goal of the season. Knocking on 30. Just.
Yeah.
And Dylan Strome is playing his best hockey of his career. It's just remarkable. I mean, he's putting Backstrom-like numbers up, this year. So, anyway, Janae, what are some of your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just honestly, like, when I saw that it was Wilson who put this puck in the net, I just laughed out loud because I was so happy because I just knew there's going to be days of trolling of Rangers fans ahead because it's just too perfect. Like, there's no one that they would hate more to score that overtime goal than Tom Wilson. So it was just beautiful. It was an awesome play by Dylan Strome. I was watching another game the other night and somebody tried to pull off the same thing and they completely failed. So it just shows you like how hard it actually is to do what Strome did there. Just drag it around the sliding defenseman and puts it perfectly on the tape for Wilson. And yeah, I love the celebration by Wilson. He knows that Rangers fans hate his guts. So he's absolutely loving it in that moment.
But
and it takes a point away from the Rangers that the Rangers really need. So I love that as well.
Right. And we didn't really even need it that much. We just did it to fuck them over in Madison Square Garden. But like, it's so funny because of course he tells Rumpy to sit down earlier and don't touch our captain and stuff like that. And Rumpy's like, I'll do whatever I want. Well, what's the best answer to that? Is score game-winning goal. Like, in
overtime.
Do what he can't do.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, too, as Wilson pretty much said after the game, like, Ovi could take out Rumpy himself if he wanted to.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Of course, there's no doubt. Ovi would be a great fighter if he ever even tried. Like,
yeah, I haven't seen
Rumpy 5 fights
beat,
ever.
I haven't seen Rumpy beat anyone in a fight yet. So
no.
He was having trouble in the minor league. No one's going to stop Giant Ovechkin if he actually got angry enough. Like, we've seen that story before when he's been pestered enough times, right? So, he hasn't suddenly lost his strength, right? So, all right. I'm gonna, for timing purposes, I'm gonna move on to the next game, which was also, is this right? Did I do this right? Yeah, it is. So Detroit found themselves ahead pretty early on in this game and playing a pretty quality game of hockey. And Gil, this is the game you went to, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is. So, Gil, talk about the lack of energy early on, them jumping on us, the atmosphere being there, and then obviously get into this goal.
Yeah. So on the podcast, we go into some detail about this, but yeah, as you said, very little energy early on. I think that they were outshot something like 11-4 in the first period alone. It all started with a fluky goal that they managed to get past Logan Thompson, and then everything just got quiet after that. Then they got another one. Building was losing a lot of hope, and then came this play. They broke out, and basically Taylor Radish just marched down the ice and would not be denied, just got in Cam Talbot's face and kept on putting the puck on net as many times as he could, and finally got it in with a wrister at 18:39 to give the Caps some hope.
Yeah, really important goal in this time in the game, and really gave them a lot of momentum going forward. And it was much needed. I really felt like, man, they really need to get a goal before the end of this period just to get some of this back and give themselves a chance in this game, because they've gotten so much better as the periods go on. You know, they are, what was it, plus 40 something now? Was it, Janaea? Do you remember on in the third period? It's something ridiculous.
Period. Yeah, they were like the other night. They said they were plus 41, so it's more than that now. But
Yeah.
it's just absurd.
Yeah.
Like
41 was the number I remember too, but you're right. I think that they now should be more. So like, it's just really crazy stuff. You know, sort of see a team out in the first period, the second period try to get it tied or close enough, and then the third just take over. Seems to be the recipe. That doesn't always work though, so like I don't know if that we should be relying on that all the way, but the knowledge to be able to come back in these games, I think will be huge come the playoffs, and the secondary scoring seems to be there, and I'm excited to see. I want to get all your guys' thoughts on our new acquisition, but we'll talk about that in the next game. But Gil, I assume that this gave a lot of energy to the crowd with this goal.
Oh, it did. Pardon me. It definitely did. Yeah, it was pretty much a mausoleum at that point. Because like I said, we were losing a lot of hope, and they were not getting a lot of plays to the net at all up until this moment, really. And this was just great to see. Like you said, the secondary, tertiary scoring really was activated here.
Yeah.
And then came this.
This, I think, is my favorite goal of the game.
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite goal of the game. I love when Protas can hit.
I think Protas is
that
becoming
goal
like my favorite player in the world, almost. Like he's so awesome. I'm just in love with this kid. He's so great. He does everything well. Like there's not one thing that he's not good at.
Yeah, he has really come into his own under Carberry. I mean, he is just
that shot. You can see it in this replay. Just like his release is so wicked. Like there's nothing you can do about it. And he's just gotten better year after year. And I think he's just soaking up so much from being around Ovechkin. I really see a lot of his shot and patterning, his approach, and you know, it seems like he gains a lot from being on.
The thing is, he says his brother's even better than him.
Yeah.
And if you look at what his brother's doing right now, where he is, that's probably true.
In his rookie season in the OHL, he's like over 100 points already in 50 games. It's insane. He's going to be a player.
Who has his contract? Do we have his contract?
Yes.
Ilya? Yep.
Yeah.
We drafted him in the third round last year. Remember they traded up a few spots?
Oh, right.
Yep.
Yeah. We got Baby Pro.
That's wild. We have so many prospects coming up.
I had the pleasure of watching him in rookie camp. The rookie camp was about 5-6 miles down the road from where I live this summer, and he was pretty good. He was pretty impressive to me. I can't wait to see what he does once he gets up to the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And if he's anything like his brother, just getting better every year, that's pretty scary for the rest.
Is he also big like him?
He is huge.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's, I think,
He is a big boy.
he's 1 inch shorter than Big Pro, but
Yeah, I think so.
like, I mean, Alexei too, like, if you remember, like, I think he was like barely over 200 pounds before. And now he's put on so much muscle that he's like 230.
Yeah.
Right. Like since his rookie year to now. So like you can expect probably the same for his brother, I think. But remember, Robbie, we were talking about it like at the beginning of the season. Remember, Alexei said that Ovechkin talked to him before the start of this season. And Ovi was basically telling him, like, listen, kid, like, you're huge. Use it. Like, he was just telling him, like, basically, like, realize how big you are and use that to your advantage. And I think that's obviously such awesome advice from the captain, because he's definitely doing it this season. And they showed it on the screen the other night during the game. Like, he's third right now in goals by a player like 24 or younger in the NHL. It's like Cole Caulfield, Jack Hughes, and Protus. That's an insane list to be on for a guy that, like, that's a first overall pick, another first round pick. Like, we took this guy in the 3rd round. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And we took his brother in the 3rd round as well. So,
yeah.
Wow. Just, man. Oh, I'm just excited for our future, and I didn't think 3 or 4 years ago I'd feel that way. And so it's just interesting to see how it's developed and what the GM has been able to accomplish in the time. And some pretty great
doesn't
stuff.
Protus lead the team in shorthanded goals this year?
I
know he's
think
got
he's tied.
Maybe tied with Wilson?
He's got 2, and I'm pretty
got...
sure Wilson's got 2. So I think they're
okay.
actually
So they
tied.
both have 2. Okay. I wasn't sure who had more, but yeah.
That was another stat they showed the other night. When Wilson and Protus are on the ice together shorthanded, it's like every 12 minutes of shorthanded ice time that they play together, they're scoring a shorthanded goal.
That's
so
crazy.
Basically 1 out of every 6 power plays that the other team gets, those 2, when they're on the ice, they're getting a shorthanded goal, which is
I know we're talking about wrestling later, but what a tag team they are.
Yeah.
Right? I'm telling you.
Just the towers of terror, like
right? Exactly, because
yeah. So it keeps on saying Tom Wilson is the active leader on the team with shorthanded goals, but it's not giving me the right.
That's all right.
But that also is an interesting fact for its own. But I feel like I would have thought Tom Wilson wouldn't be the leader on the team, but I guess that he is. So that's.
He's almost got 30 goals now. Since
he's at 29.
Yeah. He says they say he's over 10 shorthanded goals for his career now for the Capitals. So
wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome when you think about it. So I'm so happy that he's going to be our future captain. All right. So. I mean, Alexei is fantastic, just an incredible shot. We're going to go on to this one, also an incredible shot. Gil, talk about this goal.
This is the one that effectively started the party in the Cap 1. So Strome basically drops it off for Chychrun, and then he does what he does. That blue line, I mean, I swear, if in another life, maybe Jacob Chychrun was a gymnast, because he dances on that blue line like it's nothing, and he dangles like it's nothing. And he showed that maybe 5-6 times. I thought he was going to lose it. He never lost it. And then he does the move where he just sneaks into that high slot area, and nobody can see this shot coming. And this is a fantastic weapon that the Caps absolutely did not have last year, that is catching a lot of teams off guard, and I think is one of the keys to their success this year.
Yeah, Janae, what are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I just love this player. Like, I'm ready for the 8-year extension. Like, I'm so all in on this guy.
Sign it now.
Yeah, it's basically
what are you waiting for?
Reincarnated. Like, it's like having a 4th forward on the ice when he's on the ice. Like, and he doesn't really give up much defensively either. So, yeah, I just love the player. This is, I think, to Gil's point, like the way he dances the blue line too, it seems like he's been maybe teaching some of that to Rasmus Sandin too, because Sandin's gotten really good at that all of a sudden. Like, he's doing the same thing that Chychrun does, like just kind of walking the line and getting away from everybody, spinoramas and this and that, and they never seem to lose the puck. But yeah, I love this goal, not only because it was a great goal, but also because it came so quickly after the last one that you just kind of felt the wind go out of the sails of the Detroit Red Wings at this point in time. So yeah, the building sounded like it was going nuts on TV. So it's super happy for Gil that you were able to be there, because it looked like quite the event to be inside the building for that one.
Yeah,
it was it was definitely a party atmosphere, especially after that shorthanded goal. But this one, everybody got loud after this. It was
like 4 goals in less than 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was nonstop
Crazy.
craziness after this.
And I love that they tied it shorthanded, and then they just like went right back into the offensive zone and just keeping the pressure on. Like you could feel it coming. Like it basically felt like they were just going to keep the pressure on until they got that next goal. And they happened to like chicken shot it in the net almost right away. But yeah, it was great to see that offensive zone pressure from them right after they had just got the shorty. Like they didn't let their foot off the gas and kind of let it go back to being an even game. They just decided they wanted to win it right there.
Yeah, they got them on their heels. And,
yeah, it was fantastic.
Speaking of Alexei Protas, we got another Alexei Protas goal. Gil, take it away.
Okay, so this one, wow. So we were talking about how big Alexei Protas is. It still amazes me how fast he is. And he showed it on this play. So McMichael sets it up. Carlson does the breakout, gets it over to McMichael. He'll hold at the line. And then basically Protas just beats his man to the slot and then gets the snapper in just inside the left circle. But yeah, that was the key to this play, him outracing his check to get the clear shot. And there you go. I don't think I will ever figure out. I don't think we have to figure it out, but how do you get a guy to go from 5 or 6 goals one year to this kind of production? You know what? It doesn't matter. Because I think this is going to be closer to the norm from him. But it's absolutely fantastic to see.
Yeah, his numbers are not really buoyed by like shooting percentage or anything like that. Like his underlying numbers are so good too that you can see that like it's not an accident this season that he's having. And I think to Gil's point, like he has all of these physical tools that you're just like, this is going to be the norm for him going forward. It's 2-part. I think it's obviously coaching. Like you have to have great coaching to have that type of development, and the Caps obviously have that. And Wendy Marco too, skating coach, shout out to her. Like,
oh yeah,
she's been doing just an incredible job with all of these Caps prospects. They all become great skaters under her. So shout out to her too. But yeah, it's part coaching, I think. And then it's also part like the player has to have the work ethic. And Protas, like everyone's always said that about him. He has such a great work ethic. He's like first guy on the ice, last guy off the ice. And I think that's why they were comfortable. Like they signed him to that 5-year contract extension before he had this breakout season, right? But I think they were comfortable doing that because they could see that with his work ethic and with all of his physical tools that he has, that this is what he was inevitably going to turn into.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. See, for any final thoughts on this before we move on to the next goal?
Again, just another beautiful goal. I mean, it's just been fun to watch him grow and develop, like they all said. So just repeat what they said.
Isn't that Mo Sider that he's blasting past too?
I think so. Yeah.
Good question. 77. Sider's 53.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't him. Oh, trust me, I had my eye on him the whole game. I was waiting for him to slip up because I had some very interesting German taunts for him, but he never quite. Yeah.
I'm thinking of a different play then. Maybe it was one that he didn't end up scoring on, because I remember him blasting past Sider at one point in the game, and I rewound the tape and I was like, was that just Sider he did that to? And I couldn't believe it.
I was gonna say, because Sider is incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Simon Edvinsson is the player in 77 for the Red Wings. It looks like this is his rookie year.
Okay.
Well, or his second year. He's very young, 22.
He's a good young player too.
Yeah.
All right, the next goal is another shorthanded goal. 2 shorthanded goals in the game, and this one's from Tom Wilson, 29th. Gil, I'll let you take it from there.
So the Twin Terror Towers hook up again here on this play. Protas breaks it out, and wow, it's amazing how Wilson was looky here all by himself in the neutral zone, nobody on him, and he goes all the way in, and he's got hands. Let's not deny it. He's got hands. He's got enough skill to put it away if you leave him alone, which is what he did here. Backhand shelf.
Yeah. That was beautiful.
He's got so many tools in his toolbox. It's just really incredible. It makes me laugh because I think about like the early conversations about Tom Wilson that everyone was like, he's such a one-dimensional player, right? But I feel like it's the opposite. I think he's one of the more multi-dimensional players that we have on our team, and he's like a true Swiss Army blade that you need, and to have him be a top, 6 and have that sort of physicality and ability to just jump into roles like, short-handed and, kills penalties and power play and all of that, and just he eats up a lot of minutes, and it's just very impressive, all the different roles that we have Tom Wilson play.
I have loved his development over the years, to see him come from the enforcer type guy more to, as Marcus would say, pure goal scorer. Tom Wilson.
Exactly. Thank you, Farrah Fawcett.
Oh wait, I didn't do it right. Pure goal scorer, Tom Wilson.
There you go. Love it. A little ASMR going. Thank you, Farrah Fawcett, for redeeming hydrates. If any of you guys have a drink, they're supposed to take a drink. But anyway, water, anything. It's there's nothing. But anyway, so. The Senators are leading the Red Wings 1-0 according to Scorebot, and Buffalo Sabres defeated the Edmonton Oilers 3-2. So we got those. And so we are. Tom Wilson scored that one, and then I guess that's the last goal for that game. But what a great game, Gil, to go to. I'm so happy that you got to see it and be a part of all that crazy action. So.
It was a whole lot of fun. I even talked to some Detroit fans who were there, and they're proud of their team, but they're even more amazed at what the Caps have done this year. So it's always good to hear, always good to see.
Yeah. The Wizards just missed 2 3-pointers in a row. They find themselves 14 points back with 3 minutes remaining in the game. So not so good right there. But they beat Toronto on a buzzer beater that they thought went in but was rejected. And so it was kind of a funny moment in the last game in Toronto. They're playing 2 games in Toronto in a row. All right, next goal. Again, we find ourselves down 1-0. This is a hell of a shot by Martin here. But Gil, take it away.
Start the Marty party. This is, I couldn't have said it better myself. Perfect shot. Protas basically leaves it for him in the circle, and then Marty just takes it over. Who knew he had such a great shot? But we don't get to see it all that much. I wish we did, but this one picks the corner, and when you do that against a top 5 goalie, top 5, top 10 goalie, you really ought to be shooting more, and I wish he would, but this was awesome to see.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about our team is that we're able to have players that are able to swap positions on the fly. Like Connor McMichael was mic'd up for this game, and you heard at one point he say, "You take center, I'm going to switch to wing right now," right? And he took wing, and he didn't end up scoring on this play, but you could see him just flying down the ice. And for me, this is the same exact situation that you see in this play, because he was not in that position normally, but they swapped, and he just went running down the ice, and a great setup by Protas. I think it's behind his back, right?
Yes.
Just it's great to have these players that can swap positions mid-play and really catch a team flat-footed. Janaea, what are some of your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that's why the Capitals offense is so unpredictable for other teams to try to stop, because they are just swapping places all over the ice, and it confuses the hell out of the opposition what they're doing in the offensive zone. But yeah, to your point about Faravari, like how you wish he would shoot more. I think they've told him to maybe start shooting more, because he had, I think it was 1 goal in the first, I think it was like in the first 55 games or something, he had 1 goal, and now he has like 3 in the last 9. So he's definitely started shooting more, and he should shoot more for sure because he has a great shot. And if I'm not mistaken, he scored a goal almost identical to this the last time that we played Seattle in Seattle, right? But it was called back, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I love this play by Protas too, because I think what kind of had all of the Kraken defenders confused was if you watch Dubois where he is on the ice and Protas kind of looked over his way, everybody I think thought that Protas was going to send that puck back across to Dubois, and then instead he just drops it behind his back to Feravari, who was then uncovered because they were too worried about Dubois. So there's a little bit of deception by Protas too, and then a great shot by Marty.
Also, McMichael was up front, so they thought that he could be a tip man too. So you had two people going in opposite directions that pulled players up front, right? So 24 goes in the middle right there, and so it leaves a little bit of space, but it has to be a behind the back pass for it to work, and that's not easy to do, just because it's almost like a drop pass. But anyway, you have to go back and watch it. But
it helps if you're 6'5" and you have a hell of a reach.
Right.
And you know who's behind you, and because there's all kinds of circumstances. If
speed,
number 10
skill,
had been just a little faster, then that pass wouldn't have worked because it may have been intercepted. But just the hockey IQ of this team over the last several games, and just the tenacity that they have and figuring things out. Okay, this didn't work. Well, we're going to try that, and just the creativity that we've seen over the last several games with their plays, like you said, mixing the lines up on the fly and that kind of thing. It's just been incredible. I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
I absolutely love it.
And they're able to do that too, like all of the swapping spots all over the ice, because they all trust each other. Like they trust that the person that they're leaving their spot, but they trust that the guy next to them is going to have their back and back them up, so that it's not going to be an odd man rush the other way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. The next one is Dylan Strome, who's having a hell of a season here. This is his 500th game, I want to say.
Yep, 500th game, and I'm wearing his jersey in honor of that. So
nice. There you go. And then 19th goal of the season here, and Gil, I'll let you take it from there.
So on this play, looks like him and Sandin play a bit of a two-man game here on the near side, and then Strome, okay, you've heard of a 1,000-yard stare. This is the 1,000-leg goal, because this is what he had to shoot around to get it in the net. If you watch the replay, it's amazing. He waits until just the right moment, and then gets it around all the bodies in front.
That was definitely a seeing eye puck. That was crazy.
Yeah. Janaea, any thoughts on this Dylan Strome goal?
Yeah, sorry, I was just distracted. Detroit just tied it against Ottawa. But no, Strome, he did have to go through about 1,000 legs to get this one, but I just love how he has his head up the whole way. So he knows exactly where he's shooting that. When they showed the camera angle from kind of behind where Strome was, like the one looking down the ice, I found that really cool because you could see what Strome was looking at, and you could see that there was about a third of the net wide open to shoot at if he could just hit it. And head up the whole way, and he just hits it perfectly. And I love this player so much. I say it all the time. I don't understand how we got this guy for free. He's incredible.
Yeah, it's remarkable. So of course we have the Canadian on the show, and the Canadian basketball team beats us 119-104. Anyway.
You're after stuck anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's fine. We're trying to tank. It's not a big deal. The Avalanche are tied with the Blackhawks at the end of the first period, 0-0. And there's the goal that Janaea just talked about. It was at 17:02 in the third. So lots of fun and exciting things. I'm going to get to the next goal real quick here. Connor McMichael, who's just having an incredible season. And Gil, I'll let you take it from there.
Connor was mic'd up for this game, and I think he had a little extra juice because of that. Now, he's usually a shooter, but here he kind of takes over and plays the bumper in front. Takes it upon himself, along with Dubois, looks like he's in there with. Dubois, and they're great tag team partners as well, him and Dubois. But they crowd the net in front, and he gets. Oh, I remember this goal now. This was. I'll just give it away right now. I call it on our podcast. Slap your mama twice and hand it to your whoever. I'm sure I screwed that up, but slap me twice, give it to your mama is the line from Pirates of the Caribbean. Slap pass from Chikrin, slap pass from Carlson, and then Michael sticks his blade out just enough to get it past Decord. Thing of beauty, probably the most fun goal of the week to watch.
Yeah, John Carlson has a hell of a slap pass, and did a lot of the work. And we have CP3 here for our hockey news. I'm going to actually turn off my camera, see if this works, and then that way we get CP3 on that screen over there. And so, Carol, I know you're jumping in here, but what's your thoughts on how Connor McMichael has been playing this season? We're talking about his goal in the third period to make it 3-2 Washington against Seattle.
First of all, appreciate the being able to join Capitals Talk. I haven't been a part of a 5-person Caps Talk since we were on the air, so I appreciate all of you guys coming out and putting your Caps knowledge on display for our audience. I'm rocking my Caps jersey tonight, my Caps hoodie. I'm glad I'm fitting in with everyone, but I haven't been on the talk in a while, but I definitely want to say Connor McMichael, along with Protus and all of the younger guys that's come up and been contributing, which has been one of the issues for the Caps for a long time. And ironically, I was just talking to one of my buddies about the Caps and how Carberry is doing such an amazing job, and how the continuity coming from the Hershey Bears to the Capitals, I feel, has helped speed up this rebuild and help solidify this team, that they have an identity. They know they've been successful playing this way, and this feeling and this vibe that's going on right now reminds me of 2018. I told Robbie earlier, and when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, which ironically happened the last time the Capitals won, I told my Eagles fan, I can't give you a handshake until the Capitals win. Then I can, say congratulations, because I can deal with y'all as long as we hoisting the cup. But getting back to the original question, I'm sorry, I haven't been on in a while, so I got to talk about it.
No, you're fine. I'm just excited to see you.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be on. I haven't had a chance to get my sports knowledge on in a while, so I've been getting my business and finance knowledge on, but not my sports. So it's just beautiful to see how these guys are developing, along with Ovi going for the all-time greatest score. And I was watching NHL Network earlier, and I'm going to put the snippet out on my page. They were talking about how beautiful it is that this individual accolade that's, for Ovi, but the whole team is contributing to. And with the empty net situation, how the unselfish play that, excuse me, no one takes a shot. They look for Ovi to see if he can get that extra goal. And you don't have that. You have selfish players other places. If Alexander Simmons was out there, we know he would have took that shot. But it's just having the right culture and the right players, and the fact that Carberry has, came in and done what he's done. Because Robbie, I hate to throw this at you. When you was talking about your boy Laviolette, and I told you I didn't have much faith in him, and he was like, ride with him, he's done this. I was like, I don't know. And then with Carberry, the unknown factor and just the poise that he has, and like he doesn't get rattled. You don't see him really go off too much. And not to get into football talk, but he reminded me of Jaden Daniels before Jaden Daniels was in the league. I've never seen him like out of his element, like anything surprised him or had him in it, like he didn't know what to do. So I love everything that's going on, and I would love for another opportunity to have a parade. And this time I will get a chance to touch the cup, Robbie. You got a chance last time, and I didn't, damn it.
Yeah, and I got to this season touch the cup again up in Toronto. So,
Robbie,
Nice.
we weren't going to talk about that. We were just talking about the cup. Why you got to rub it in again? But damn it, Robbie.
So, yeah, very exciting time for sure. I want to get Janaea your thoughts on this Connor McMichael third period goal.
Yeah, it was a beautiful goal. Like Gil said, actually the Chikrin fake shot and slap pass before the Carlson one, it happened so fast the camera couldn't even follow it on the TV. So they lost sight of the puck there for a second, and then next thing you know, Carlson's making a slap pass of his own down to Mikey, and Yeah, it's another young player that I just love. Like McMichael, I think he leads the league in like inner slot chances. Like he's just always around the net all the time. Like he knows how to, he's not scared to go to those dirty areas and get dirty to get the goal. He's not scared of, getting cross-checked in front of the net or what have you. Like he always gets down there to the paint and he scores so many goals just like that. And yeah, great to see him getting his 23rd already. Crazy.
That's awesome.
Awesome. C4, any final thoughts on this one before we get into the next goal?
Again, a thing of beauty right in front of the net. I love to see those down and dirty goals.
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too. All right, we got the next goal. Gil, I'll let you announce it, and then I'll get CP3's thoughts on it.
Okay, so this is one of those evil empty net goals, but this actually was a great play. Ginny and I think, break it down here pretty well. But basically what happened was the puck gets loose, and Wilson does a fan-damn-tastic job of getting it right between two Kraken defenders here. So we'll keep rolling here. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Gets around him and gets it right to Ovi, who does kind of a 180 move, 180 backspin move, and then just kind of backhands it into the goal. I don't think he was trying to score. I don't know that he was trying to score. He's obviously pleased that he scored. And of course, Ovi, well, he's such an evil, selfish guy that, he just happened to decide to donate a certain amount of his paycheck to for every goal that he does score to the V Foundation, which of course fights cancer. What a horrible thing to do.
Right?
Hey, what a shitty guy, eh?
Yeah.
Terrible. Horrible.
CP3, what are your thoughts on this evil empty net goal?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank for that evil empty net goal because it won my parlay for me yesterday. When McMichael, I didn't get a chance to talk about that. McMichael goal was beautiful, and when I had him as the 5th goal scorer, so I won 2 bets on that game yesterday. So that was definitely a beautiful play by McMichael. But when he got that goal, I was like, Ovi gonna have a chance for an empty netter, and just to see, and Bill, I hate to, not to talk down to you, but Ovi was aiming for the net. It's not, whenever he gets the puck on the stick, he's shooting, he could be 200 feet away, he's aiming for the net. So
he's got enough skill to know where it was.
Yeah,
but I think
that's
first on his mind was getting it out. But yeah, he knows how to get it towards the net at least. So yeah,
it's crazy. That's just how good of a goal scorer he is, that he can just flip it backhand and it just automatically goes into the net. So
with 2 people on him.
Yeah. I mean,
that was awesome.
As I was having a conversation, I don't know if anyone can argue. Well, I've had people argue, but if anyone says that Alex Ovechkin isn't the greatest DC sports athlete ever, something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And this man has came in top pick, got them to the pinnacle of the Stanley Cup. Now is about to break the all-time record for goal scorers and possibly go on another Stanley Cup run. I mean, I love this dude. My goal is to get an interview. I'm getting a little bit closer. I know some folks at Kettler now, so I'm trying. That's my goal and dream of my sports career. If I could get that interview with him, I'll hang it up, Robbie. I won't ever do sports coverage again.
I hope not, but I definitely want to do it. It was funny because last week I was thinking about going and meeting Nicholas Backstrom. He was actually in Rockville, which is where I'm located, and I knew the line was going to be crazy, and you'd have to get there hours ahead of time. Some people stood out in the cold for hours. They told them they were going to get to meet him, and not everyone did. So I'm kind of happy I didn't take the risk, but it was cool to see him there. Them also celebrating the Rock the Red era Capitals the last couple of days, including ceremonial puck drops and things like that. It's good to see Greeny back and him, and it's just cool to relive some of those glory days from the past. So it's all good stuff to see for sure. I'm so impressed with where we are in the standings. Carol, talk about what some of your thoughts are on us through, as we sort of enter the final stretch run here.
It's remarkable. I mean, you lose your superstar for what, 5-6 weeks? And during that time, they had a little hiccup at the beginning, but they found the way and found ways to win. Last year, worse in goal differential. This year, in the tops for goal differential. Defense is solid. They go down early, but they have the tie for the most comeback wins. Excuse me, solid defensively. I still am impressed with the man-on-man coverage that they employed last year. Now they've even better this year. The goaltending has been phenomenal from Thompson and from Lindgren. Him getting the contract, he definitely played well and helped them propel to that win yesterday. To me, everything has been falling into place beautifully. And I don't know if a lot of fans give McClellan credit, but for a couple of only maybe one or two missteps, he's done everything right since he's been here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's been one of the best GMs of the last 5 years.
Yep.
And some just really cool stuff. Greg asked a question on Facebook. Welcome on in, Greg. He said, "What will CP3 ask Ovi when he gets the interview?" That's a good question.
Yeah, good question.
First question. I think the first question I would ask him is, how tore up did they get on that Stanley Cup tour with the cup? I want to see some video that I won't publish, but I want to say I know some crazy stuff. I saw the fountain work. And
how long did it take you to get sober after that? How many days in a row were you not?
I just wanted that'd be my first question. Like, just, the elation of finally getting there, hearing all of the naysayers, all of the Crosby talk, and finally be able to, get your team to that position and win it. And then the celebration after. I just want to know what that, just get his words on that, because I just coming from someone, that always, had ill talk about him and he was selfish and, like you say, the empty net, those didn't count. I'm like, Gretzky had empty netters too. What are you talking about? It's part of the game.
Can you imagine
on the ice when there's an empty net? That's saying the coach has faith in you that you'll be responsible defensively, and if you get that opportunity, you'll take care of the game. So I just, I'm in awe of that guy, man.
Yeah. Can you imagine the celebration when Ovi breaks the record and we win the cup in the same year?
Yes.
Can you imagine the celebration?
Yes, that would be.
But I put a bet on it, so.
Well, I will say, the thing going around is last time Eagles won the Super Bowl, we won the cup. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping that history can repeat itself.
As long as we don't win the President's Trophy, there's hope.
I'm not even worried about that, Jake.
You know what's funny is because the President's Trophy is actually due to win it.
Remember he picked up
the President's Trophy is due to win it. You're right. And this team just seems like they just don't let anything phase them. Like nothing phases them. So they're kind of a team that I would almost not worry about having it in that way. Like I know everybody, including me, thinks it's cursed, but they just seem like they don't let anything bother them. And I feel like they would almost kind of take it as like a chip on their shoulder. Like we want to be the ones to show that actually you can win the cup when you have the President's Trophy too.
Well, remember when they won the cup, Ovi picked up the Eastern Conference Final when they say, don't do it, don't do it. They don't care about superstitions. When you have faith in the way you're playing and the way they're playing and the confidence, like you say, no matter what, they go down, they're like, okay, we still got time, especially if it's early. I don't even sweat it because I know they're going to wear down the other team. Their forecheck is, when they get going, is ridiculous. Tom Wilson, I don't care how many goons chance you get. If you had him on your team, you'll love him. They fear that man because he is like a missile out there. They showed the numbers. Only 2 players in the league have over 20 goals and over 150 hits. Tom Wilson and Brady Tkachuk. That's it. That's how rare he is. So it's just beautiful to see this team coming together. Robbie, we've been covering this team for a long time. We've been through all the disappointments, but we had the elation of 2018. Hey, man, I got a feeling, man. It might be that time.
Can you believe it? If it happens in season 10, both those things, because that's what we're right there. Wouldn't that be so fitting?
It does just have a special feel. There's kind of a special aura around this season. I feel like it's just kind of felt special right from the get-go with like it being their 50th season and like facing Gretzky and the team is top of the standings. Like it really feels like something is happening here. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I mean, you can't argue with what you're seeing on the ice, and they just seem like they can beat any team, any night, any way that they want to play. I heard somebody I got to bring this up. I heard, do you guys know Jay Rosehill, who used to play for the Leafs?
I know the name.
The name
I've heard
sounds
the name.
familiar.
Yeah, I've
He
heard
was
the
like
name.
a fourth line tough guy, whatever. So he's on this show called the Leafs Nation, and they threw in a comment about Ovi the other night, and I almost commented and was like, "You're out to lunch, bro," because he said essentially what he said was. He's like, yeah, he was talking about how the Leafs can make it all the way to the final. And he's like talking about how maybe Florida and Tampa will beat the crap out of each other in the first round. And he's like, and then if you can just get to the Eastern Conference final, he's like, the Capitals, they're not for real. Like they've been playing wonky hockey all year. And he's like, they're just trying to feed Ovi, and Ovi's playing 30 minutes a night trying to get the goals record. And I was just like,
Okay.
huh?
Like, we're only feeding.
Not one part of that is true. I was like, first of all, he's playing like the lowest ice time of his career. He's playing like 15, 16, 17 minutes a night.
Plus, we have multiple players over 20 goals.
We lead the league in double-digit goal scorers. We have the best depth goal scoring in the league. We're second in the league in goals against. We
our goal differential is freaking insane.
Our forecheck is insane. Our defense is insane. Our goaltending is insane. Like everything about this team is insane. Every stat that is a Washington Capitals stat right now is like top 3, top 5 in the league. So I almost commented, but I didn't want to get into it. But
they have Crosby on the brain. That's what they have. Crosby on the brain.
Yeah, this is the perception though. Like people just throw out this garbage, and it's like it's not even true. Like, how are you going to get on air and say Ovi's playing 30 minutes a night? It takes 2 seconds to look it up. Like. But that's like, it's to show like that this is like how the media operates. Like they don't even bother to like fact check things. They just kind of spew out like the same, like.
That's why we created this show, is so that way fans didn't get like, I would call into things like the Junkies. They'd give me 1 minute on air, hang up on me, and talk about it. Where here, we're taking questions from 4 different chats. We're all having conversations. We can bring more people.
Don't mention them, Robbie. I told you I had an instance where I had to snap on somebody when they actually had the audacity to mention them in the conversation. Please don't.
Yeah, I will. But my point though stands is that's what 9 years ago we call in radio show, and that show when we won the cup, we had like 10 people on the line. Celebrating it, and it was an incredible moment, and it's. I hope that we get to do that again. I'll fit as many squares into this screen as as we can. Come that win, but it seems like we're really building something here, and it seems that every night they're learning something and they're getting better. I do want to ask Janaea, what are your thoughts about the new acquisition for the Capitals?
Beauvillier, yeah, well, first of all, I liked what they did, not so much even just talking about like him as like an individual singular player, but I liked what they did in that they didn't do anything that big. Like I really didn't think that was a good idea. Like we all remember, I think 2010, right? That team was kind of the same in that like they had so much chemistry. They were playing amazing. They were like running over the league, and they made all these moves at the trade deadline, and it just completely shot the chemistry. And then they were out in the first round. So I didn't want a repeat of that. And I think they were pretty conscious of that too. Like this team does seem to have like a really literally magical chemistry right now in the locker room. So I don't think they wanted to disrupt that too much. And I'm glad that they didn't. And then secondly, I was really glad to see that like the new GM, Chris Patrick, his response to everybody calling about all of the Capitals prospects was apparently like, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, no, So I definitely agree with that. I don't think they should be selling off any of their prospects because I'm really not okay with giving up any of those guys right now. They all look amazing. And I think the Caps are taking a really smart approach to just like, we have a really, really good team right now. I think this team could win it all. Just like, based on how they were before the deadline. Like, I think they're good enough to win as is. I don't think they had to do anything crazy. Beauvillier specifically, like, I like the player. I thought the couple of times that we saw him with Pittsburgh this year, he was really annoying. So that's always a good thing. And I saw multiple Penguins fans too saying that like he's literally been one of their best players all season. Like he's one of the only guys on that team that's actually consistently shown up and worked hard. And other than, Crosby, of course, but Penguins fans were very pleased with him, is my point. So it's always interesting to get the perspective of the team who just traded him, and Penguins fans seem to think that they'll be good for us.
I would like to get your guys' take on that, because Penguins trading a quality player to us.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I had to do a double take. Can I please get some insight from you guys what was the fuel behind this trade for them to give up such a quality player to a rival team?
I
They
think they're right
finally
now,
they
they're almost
finally figured out they have to start selling parts. That's
Yeah.
all. That's what it is.
They're
Yeah.
almost, I think right now they're going to try to copy what the Caps have done, like try to just retool around Crosby and Malkin, which I think is going to be a little bit hard for them because Kyle Dubas makes some interesting decisions. But
Yeah.
I think they're going to try to copy what the Caps have done in like retooling. So they're trying to right now accumulate draft picks, and then they're going to try to do the same thing and maybe flip those for players, younger players, to try to surround Crosby and Malkin. But yeah, I just I was happy, I guess you could say, to see that that Penguins fans think that he'll be good for us, even if they were saying it a little bit begrudgingly. And I think he slides nicely into the bottom six. It'll be interesting to see who they actually take out of the lineup, like long term. I know they had Frank out the other night. I don't know if that'll be the way that it'll be. But yeah, we'll see going forward. But I like the player. He's speedy, he's tenacious, like he's good on the forecheck, all those things that have become synonymous with Capitals hockey. So I think it should be a good fit.
Yeah, I think with the size, it was going to be the determining factor. I think Frank has played nicely. You know, he has the speed and he's, added a little jump to that fourth line. But I think with the size that the size advantage that I don't even want to try to mess his name up, that the new guy has, I think that will probably be a better fit for the run for the playoffs. He's Frank has played, had some good opportunities of taking advantage of him and score some nice goals. But when you're getting ready for that playoff rush, yeah, you want to have a more sturdier guy out there on that fourth line, because that's the line you send out there to calm things down when they get out of hand. And he's been a benefit during the regular season, but we all know playoffs is a different beast in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
I think the idea is
Beauvillier was pretty good, like during the Islanders runs in the playoffs too. He was pretty good.
Yeah, I think the idea is you move him into the spot and you keep Frank as your reserve. Like we were keeping Verana as our reserve guy that to slot in for speed if you need a change of pace. And I think
that might be what made him.
This is that's why we got rid of Verana. Oh, we didn't try to get rid of him. We tried to move him down, but I think that's kind of the lateral move.
That's a good point, Ryan. That's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about him, honestly. I do know that he had pretty decent numbers in Pittsburgh. So again, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to him. I know he played on Sunday. I know he had at least one really nice shot that I saw, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it's more of a size. I think CP3 is right. It's a size thing. He's probably going to fill in on that because he's on that fourth line a bit more and then just keep Frank in reserve for when we need speed.
It's interesting. Greg said that the Pens got a second-round pick for a player who's been traded for fifth-rounders the last 2 times he's been traded. So they got traded their picks.
It was kind of just the prices at this deadline, though. Like the prices were insane. Like people were paying like first-round picks and top prospects for things that you normally would not pay that for. And I was also glad to see that it was our own second-round pick that we traded, which the top of the league. So it's going to be a very late second-rounder, right? Almost closer to a third-rounder, whereas we kept the one that Boston gave us, which is going to be a much higher one given how the Bruins are doing. So
yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'm okay with trading the second-round pick for that. I mean, the Pittsburgh's going to need some help. And I guess, like you said, they're gathering picks so they can build up their prospect pool over the next couple of years, or trade them for, pieces now. But we'll see how that works out for them. But I'm glad we didn't make any major moves that disrupted the chemistry or anything, that this team is just going to keep on trucking like it was, So I have no complaints about what we did at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
I think you get to a point too where like the Caps, at least that's what it sounded like from Chris Patrick. Like you kind of get to a point where you almost like you've built up your prospect pool to be very good at this point now, and you almost get to a point where like how many more second round picks do you really need like in the immediate future, because we had an extra one too, right? Like we had that one from the Bruins and then we had our own, so it's kind of worth it to just to just kind of throw one out to see what you can get for the bottom 6, because I did want to see them make at least a depth move, just because if somebody gets injured and now you already lost Brenna on waivers and you're kind of looking a little bit thin all of a sudden for like bottom 6 depth. So it was good to see them make at least one pickup. But yeah, I was definitely happy that they weren't like, trading away top prospects or first round pick or anything like that to make a bigger move.
And we have a ton of prospects in the pool, so we can afford to give up one person in the draft or one or two people just because we know there's a lot of people.
The question I was going to have next, Robbie. I don't know. I know we have a very healthy prospect pool and a lot of young players doing big things. I know Gil and Janaya follow the prospects, and is it I don't want to. What is it? Foster. I can't remember your
Forster.
Yeah,
C4 works. Sorry,
C4,
I'm a little
okay,
distracted. The steel cage match is going on in Raw, and they were both on top of the cage.
Oh, I forgot that. Oh, dang it! I keep on forgetting wrestling on that. Dang it.
Yeah,
and actually now Seth is trying to drag CM Punk down. Sorry.
No, that's fine. We're talking wrestling a little bit.
Oh man, I got turn off one of my TVs. I got basketball on. Damn it.
Real quickly, I want to give a shout out to Troy, thanking us, congratulating us for 9 years.
About to make me switch.
Eric was watching, Dujanay is watching, so thank you everyone over on Facebook for watching.
What's up, dude?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been a really fun night so far. I just want to really quickly go over the upcoming schedule. I'm gonna race through it and just get your guys' general thoughts. We're not gonna go through all the games, and so I'm just gonna list the games just because it's gonna be a while until our next stream. So we're doing a 3-game road swing. We go to at Anaheim. It's a 10 o'clock Eastern start on Tuesday, and then 10:30 at LA on Thursday. 5 p.m. a more reasonable time on Saturday in San Jose, and then the following week Tuesday we play back at home at 7 p.m. and then that Thursday we play Philly at home also at 7, and then that following Saturday we have Florida to conclude that 3-game home swing. It's a 5 o'clock Saturday game. I think that time got moved. And then Tuesday, March 25th, we're at Winnipeg playing the top team in the West. It's always an interesting matchup. That'll be an 8 p.m. start. And then 2 days later, on the 27th, we're at Minnesota, 7:30 start. We've got Buffalo the following Sunday, March 30th. That's a 3 p.m. That's a home game, early start for that one. And then the first week of April, which is the last week we're not covering, we're going to be at Boston at 7 on Tuesday. It's a back-to-back. We're at Carolina on Wednesday at 7. And then Friday, April 4th, we are versus Chicago in Washington at 7. And then Sunday, 2 days later, we're playing at the Island, New York Islanders, at 12:30. And then we'll recap all of those games somehow when we come back, probably quickly the earlier ones, and then more in depth the later ones to start season 10. But some interesting road swings, some interesting home games. I'll just ask each one of you if anything, one thing that stands out about the upcoming schedule, and then that way we're not spending too much time on it, but we get to get all your thoughts. So Gil, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the upcoming schedule in general and where we are in the standings?
So conveniently enough, after the trade deadline acquisition, Caps go on a West Coast road trip. So they're going to go out and get Californicated here. That's going to have give them a lot of time to get Beauvillier more acquisition into the lineup. I think you're going to see a lot of him, a lot of that third, fourth line. They're going to have to figure out who's going to sit. Maybe it's Frank more often. Maybe Eller sits. But yeah, that's going to be the big thing coming up with these games. They've got to get him acclimated as best as they can, because that's what the playoffs are going to come down to, that bottom 6 punch, counter punch, especially late in games. You live and die by those bottom 6 forwards in a lot of playoff games. So that's going to be key coming up these next few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Janae, what are some of your thoughts on this upcoming stretch here?
Yeah, I agree with everything Gil said. I think the stretch run here should be more about like figuring out, just line combinations for the bottom 6 and who we want in and out and what lines we want to put them on and how they can gel together, and just getting everybody like playing at their top level before we hit the playoffs, because we have such a large lead right now in the standings, like in terms of the not just the Metropolitan Division, but the whole Eastern Conference. So I don't think we really care too much if we finish ahead or below Winnipeg, right? So it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, more so than the points in the standings right now, I think they should just be focusing on like making sure that they're playing their best hockey down the stretch run. And obviously, if you're playing your best hockey, the points will follow. My birthday is March 20th, so I hope they win that day. They're playing Philly that day. I did think like there was a really good chance before Ovechkin broke his leg that would be like the day that he's going to break the record. Now we would have to, now we'd have to score like 9 goals in 5 games for that to be true. But I mean, crazier things have happened. He's done that many times before, 9 and 5. So, but yeah, hoping they can get a win that day. And then I think particularly that game on the 25th against Winnipeg, that should be a really good one. The first game between those two teams was awesome. So I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, some people think that that's the game of the season so far. I know Steve Dangle thought that, I think, and he's one of the reasons why I started wanting to do a hockey podcast in the first place. And pretty exciting stuff. C4, what are your thoughts on the upcoming schedule?
I'm kind of the same with Gil and Janai. I figure out the lines, play your best hockey. The wins and the points will come. It's 13 games, 26 possible points. I'll be happy if we, split it and come back with 13 or 15, 18. I'm not, like you said, I'm not as concerned about the points right now. It's more about figuring out the lineups and getting things in place for the playoffs.
And staying healthy.
And staying healthy, yes.
That's what scares me coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
I'm just like every night, just like, please bubble wrap everyone, nobody get injured.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. CP3, what are your thoughts on the upcoming schedule?
I'm looking over it right now. Looks like it's around 19 games left in the regular season. Like everyone has pretty much said, just get solidified, continue playing the way they're playing. If they have, we haven't really had a long stretch. We had a 3-game losing streak not too long ago. So I mean, we face some adversity through the season. I don't like going into the postseason on a long winning streak because that instills a certain confidence, and then you not going into at the sharpest mind. So just continue playing solid hockey, continue getting solid goaltending. I'm not really worried about the injuries because they've been playing well all season. They're bigger, they're more physical. They're the ones that's imposing the hits on folks more than they're absorbing them. So I'm not really worried about the wrapping them in bubble wrap sentiment, but just continue playing their hockey, continue playing with confidence, and if the President's Cup comes their way, cool. If not, so be it. We know there's only one cup that we really care about, and it's not the President. And it's not the President's Cup.
Right. Yeah, the team that I'm worried slightly about is this Florida team. Yeah, Marchand, joining that team.
They did trade him? I missed that. They did trade him?
Yeah, Boston traded him to Florida, which is...
Florida, yeah.
Well, it makes sense. The Rat goes to a team that the Rat is the man.
It's true.
It fits.
Like a theme night.
It fits.
Yeah.
That's what people were saying. They can just chuck Marchand on the ice after.
Hey,
all right, there we go.
You read my mind. I was thinking the same thing. That somebody tossed him on ice.
Yeah. So, all right. I hate to do this next segment, but it's gonna be our last hockey segment. I'm gonna ask the question. So there's a little over 10 games, I think, between now and the beginning of the next season here. He has 9 goals to go. Do we think that he does it in between seasons by the end of our show, 9 and 10, before we come back from break? Do we think that he does it before the end of the season, or does it happen next year for Ovi? So those are our 3 options.
So what game after what game does your show come back?
So our show, so I'm going to count the number of games. I think that's important. So we got
13.
It's 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, because you come back on the 7th, right?
Yeah, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, 13 games. So can he do it in 13 games? Can he do it in the rest of the season, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more? So I think we have 18 left, right?
Oh, absolutely. He'll do it before the end of the season.
Yeah.
He can do 10 goals in 18 games. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it before the end of this season. I lean towards he's going to do it before you're back on the air.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm thinking again. I'm hoping it would be awesome against Chicago. That game, that Friday night game in Chicago.
Yeah.
At
All right.
home.
What is
I
your
really
prediction?
want him to do it at home, but we've got so many away games. It makes me in those 13 games.
I so badly want him to do it at home, so badly.
But I feel like Chicago would be the one place where they would celebrate him. They've already done that before.
He's at home. We're at home against Chicago.
For his 800th goal, he scored that one in Chicago. Even though
you're right, but you're right. The Chicago game is here.
Rangers fans at Madison Square Garden were chanting his name after he scored the other night. I could not believe that.
Yeah.
It just shows how big it is. Like, it's bigger than any person's one team, right?
Yeah. I think my prediction is April the 10th versus Carolina, 7:30 game. That's it'll be right after we come back.
If not that game, then definitely the last, the home closer, April the 13th against the CBJ.
Yeah.
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 So we got the 4th to 10th. Everyone's picking on home games.
Damn it, Gil, you stole my thunder. That was going to be my bold prediction. Damn it. Gil,
Actually, it would be really fun if he did it against the Penguins, but
in Pittsburgh? Oh.
In Pittsburgh. That would be
no.
But no, I think the 4th against Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's my prediction.
I'm torn between the 4th or the 10th, honestly.
I will tell you this. I'm going to get tickets for all three, the 4th, the 10th, and the 13th. I'm getting tickets for all three of those games.
Because I think that he's...
Better get them now.
I was going to say, you better jump on that.
I think that he's like aware enough of it and he's confident enough in his own ability to score that goal with that many games left at that point. Like, I do think if he's like one away and they're on the road, he's going to kind of wait. Like...
Mm-hmm. I don't see him waiting. I don't see him passing up a goal.
No. Unless it's like a wide open net, but like I don't think...
maybe he'll pass up on the empty netter and give it to somebody else. But I don't. And that's the other question. Do you think he would score an empty netter to tie or to break the record, or would he?
Carberry said that he doesn't think he would. He thinks he would just be passing it, like he was trying to pass it to Kuznetsov for 802.
Yeah, for 8. I was there for that game. What was it? 862 or
he passed it to
802. Yeah. For 802, yeah, I was there at that game, and he passed it to Kuzi. Kuzi passed it back, and he just flung it. And he's like, "Fine." I mean, even sitting as far up in where I was sitting, I could see the look on his face was just like, "Fine," and he just flapped it towards.
I think it would be a different story if it's like an empty net and it's the last game of the season, and he just wants to get it done. Yeah, but like, it's also like he has a whole. Like a whole another year on his contract too. Like, it's not like this is like do or die. Like, you got to get it done right now. So
no, but he's doing it this year. It's absolutely
happening. Oh yeah, I think he's 100% doing it this year. I'm just saying I don't think he'd do the empty net goal unless it was like literally the last game of the season and he's like, all right, let me just put it in.
I don't know, because I think Ovi's going for 900. I think he wants 900.
Oh yeah, he's gonna blow past 900.
Yeah, I think he wants 900. So I don't think he cares about how he gets the record-breaking goal, because he's going for the bang for the buck.
Yeah, for sure. Why not go for 1,000? Right, that's what I laugh.
I don't know if he'll ever get that. He might get 950.
But if you keep scoring 30 goals a season, why would you stop?
Well, that's true. He only has 1 year, and he said he would do one more year. I don't think he's going to resign. He said he'd do.
No, he'll do one more year here. He'll do a year in Russia, then he'll come back in the booth.
Yeah, so like if you think like, because this season, if he didn't break his leg, he would be on pace for close to 60. So even if next year he gets like 40, like he's at 950 already at that point almost. So he could do it. Yeah, it sucks that we had those lockouts, because he would have been well over 1,000 if he didn't have the 2 lockouts.
Oh, right.
And COVID.
He would have already broke the record if it wasn't for the lockouts.
Yeah,
and COVID.
Yeah, and COVID, yeah.
Because we lost almost.
Well, that's another thing. How many lockouts did Gretzky have? Like,
yeah, he had 0.
These people can kiss my ass. They're so like.
That's just the OV hate. I relish in it, because I just laugh at it. I'm like, really, his stats? He has 1,600 points. All of those aren't
talk about that. That's a good point.
Some other skill.
Yeah. Ovechkin did hit 1,600, and he's only the 7th player to ever do that with one team. Only the 11th player, I believe, to do it ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that OV hate, I just laugh at it. I'm like, That's kind of like the LeBron hate. I laugh at that. I'm like, really? Come on.
Well, like Gil said, like with Darren Pang on the TNT broadcast, like, what did Ovechkin kick his puppy at some point? Like, I don't understand. It's just like just making asinine comments. And then I heard he felt the need to like call into a DC area radio show or something to like
Right.
try to
A certain show that
himself.
we've already mentioned whose
Right, that
name
we
we're not
can't-
going to mention again.
Right.
But like he's trying to like cover himself now because
And he did a
he's
bad
realized,
job
like,
with that, by the way, in that segment. He kind of just stepped in it again. Like, he didn't really backtrack far enough. So, yeah.
Yeah, the hate is real. It's more because they envy what he can do and they know they could never do it, so they have to hate on it because that's all they can't appreciate it like we do, being of the fan base and that he's on our team and he's helped our team. But I mean, what can you do, man? What can you do?
Yeah. Well, with that, I'm going to start to wrap things up with the hockey segment. I mean, it's been such an incredible run in this 9 years. We've got to hoist the cup. We've got to celebrate and go to the parade, have some amazing podcasts. And we've covered the ups and downs of this team, making the playoffs, not making the playoffs, and just it's been incredible to get to do this. I mean, Janae and I have talked hockey for over a decade together. Carol and I have now talked hockey for almost a decade, and Gil and C4, we've gotten to be on each other's shows and things like that, and it's been an incredible run, and I'm so excited to see what season 10 brings, with all of this exciting stuff on the horizon. But I'm going to start with Janaea. Let people know about the YouTube and what you're up to, and any final thoughts before we let you go.
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to congratulate you again on 9 years. That's so incredible. Like, you've been so consistent with doing this show every week, and it's something I really admire because it's so hard to do that for that long and stay consistent with it. I know it's hard for me, and you do a much better job than I do with that. So yeah, I just wanted to congratulate you again on the 9 years. It's been amazing, and so happy to have known you for so long. I think we literally started talking when I was like 18, I believe. So that was a long time ago. So,
That's crazy.
long time ago. And yeah, for my part, if you wanted to follow along with me, I have a YouTube channel. It's just under the same name, Janaea Talks Caps, where I do a post-game reaction video for every Capitals game. So those are always fun. And I did decide to bring back the actual podcast too. I recorded an episode just the other day, so I'm gonna release that for it'll be up tomorrow morning. So I was just trying to figure out a way to get the video version for YouTube because my hosting platform kind of changed the way that they're doing things. But yeah, that podcast episode will be up on the YouTube channel and then across all the audio platforms as well. It's again the same name, Janaea Talks Caps. So yeah, it'll be up on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and that one's going to be talking about the trade deadline, not just for the Caps, but like how it affected the Metropolitan Division and the rest of the league as well, because there were some crazy things that went down with Brad Marchand to Florida. That's nuts. Mikko Rantanen, like all these things. So got a lot to talk about. So that'll be up tomorrow morning.
Sounds
Awesome.
good. Well,
I look forward to listening to that.
Yeah, I've always loved your show and your post-game reactions, and I love that when we started, you've come so far, and I love the fact that you do these post-game stuff. Like, we've talked about Steve Dangle before, and I feel like the Capitals fans need somebody like that that could do it. I would love to be able to do a video every one, but I can't. So I'm so happy that you are able to do it, and I've always enjoyed having you on this show as well. And we'll definitely have you on in season 10 to talk about this crazy run.
Sounds good. I can't wait.
All right, C4. Let people know. I don't know if you're still doing the Capitals Off the Chain right now. I know that you're an injured reserve, but let people know what you're up to these days.
Yep, I'm still doing the Capitals Off Their Chain. We record usually on Wednesdays. It's usually up either Wednesday night or Thursday morning on YouTube. It's called Capitals Off Their Chain Podcast. There's a reason it's called Off Their Chain, because we do digress a bit sometimes, as Gil also joins us for most episodes. Also, as a part of that, Gil and Marcus have been doing a mock draft every few weeks. I think the next one is scheduled for when?
Actually, I think we're recording the next round of that tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's tomorrow. They're recording that, and then Wednesday will be our regular. No, I think Thursday might actually be our podcast. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look, but Marcus will also throw shorts up on the channel if he's at a game or if he's just watching, and we'll do the occasional live stream. We did a live stream of the Rangers game. It's quite interesting if you watch it.
I'm sure that will be interesting.
Yeah, let's just say I thought Marcus was going to have a stroke during the first period with some of the calls or non-calls as they were. Particularly one that led directly to a Rangers goal. But
I almost stroked out in that one too. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah. But of course, by the end of the game, he had settled down and whatever. But yeah, so we do live streams. Our friend Jared Canty, who lives up in New York, also joins us on occasion for the podcast when he's available. So it's a lot of fun. We talk Caps hockey, we go through the games, and we talk prospects and stuff like that. And sometimes we digress a little bit, but we always come back to it. So
sounds good. Well, I appreciate your contribution all season, C4, and for all the last couple of seasons. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I hope that you're continue to heal. And we'll definitely have you back on in season 10.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted as things go along.
Yeah, for sure. Please do. And Gil, I know we talked a little bit about what was on the show already earlier, but any final thoughts before we let you go?
7, 8 years ago, you and CP3 took a chance on me, and I don't know how, but you were so impressed by us. You guys decided to make us a regular part of Caps Talk, and I want to thank you guys for that, because I think you kind of pushed us forward a little bit. Not a whole lot of people knew who we were, and I think you guys put us on the map. And I just want to thank you guys for that, because it's been nothing but good since then. This is a damn fine place to talk Caps hockey, and I love you guys for it. So thanks for 9 years of this.
I appreciate that. And Anna is celebrating her birthday tonight, which is why she's not here tonight. And I hope that she's having a wonderful vacation and has a happy birthday. And we're thinking of you, Anna, as well, as we celebrate 9 years. And thank you, the three of you. It's been a lot of fun tonight. And we're going to switch gears here and switch to some football talk. We're going to bring in Champ and Arun for that segment. I'm going to change some of the graphics, and I'm going to refresh my beverage, and I'm going to let CP3 talk with Champ about some of these moves and that has happened here over the last couple of days, and let them talk about that. And I'm going to be right back because I get to actually have co-hosts in CP3 to be able to cover me for the first time in a long time.
All right. Good night, guys.
Team.
Good night, guys.
Hey, guys.
All right, y'all have a good night. Appreciate it. What's up, DC People's Champ? Where you at there, bruh?
What's happening, brother? Just dealing with an issue with my Chromecast. I think I might need a new Chromecast at this point. But other than that, just another day, another dollar.
No doubt. I'm in here. I got the Chicago, Colorado hockey game on in the second period, tied 0-0. I had the OKC Denver game on. I think that's at commercial right now. I was hoping to win that parlay on that, but looked like somebody coming up a little short. So and then my overtime games have been screwed. So it looked like I might have to take the L today, but I had a good weekend, so I can't complain. Today is the first day of the official day of NFL free agency, and the Commanders have made some moves. Let me pull up my free agency tracker real quick. I wasn't expecting to do free agent talk today, but you know, it's been a while, but I don't have a problem doing it. We know the major move for the Commanders so far is the deal today for, let me make sure I get his name right. Where'd it go?
You talking about Laramie Tunstall?
Yeah, that's the dude name.
I like that. I love that move. I love that move. Really love that move.
Definitely.
Laramie Tunstall has been a consistent offensive tackle for his entirety of his career in the NFL. And I think that if you need somebody that's going to watch JD5's backside, that's the guy you want to have watching JD5's backside is Laramie Tunsil. And I think that's going to make our offensive line a lot stronger, and it's definitely going to make the offense go a little bit better, especially in the run game. Get Brian Robinson going a little bit more, having that base with Tunsil as well as our center and everything else. And it'll open up the pass game. We went and got Debo in a trade, so you got Debo on one side and McLaurin on the other side. I think that at least two of these moves have already made our offense marginally better. Even though we were top 10 last year, I think we have once again a top 10 offense with these moves, maybe even a top 5 offense, or close to it with these moves. These are some really good moves right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean the trade to give up the draft picks for Tunstall. I've had a couple of folks, say they give a lot of capital, but I have to remind them they made out like a fat rat last year with the trades with DeHaan Dotson and Lattimore and things they did. So they're in a position now where they have a rookie contract on Jaden. He's playing good ball, and they're putting their chips in. And with the trade for him, along with you mentioned Debo, he's definitely like a Swiss Army knife, and in this offense, with Diami Brown now departing to Jacksonville, Debo is going to fit into that role that, if you recall, Curtis Samuel was supposed to play under the previous regime, where coming out the backfield, slant screens, aggressive runner when he gets the ball in his hands. And my only hesitance about that is, his injuries the last couple of years, plus a healthy cap number, along with being close to 30. So this is I guess a prove it deal, and this is what the kind of made it better by them releasing Jonathan Allen, which kind of offset the $17 million that he's getting as the $17 million that Jonathan Allen would have been getting. But with the relationship that Adam Peters have with Debo, I was hoping that we would already have heard of an extension right now to get that number lower, so we can have more flexibility and add more pieces to it, especially with Jeremy Chin departing to the Raiders today for a 2-year deal. I was hoping and thinking that he was going to sign because he had such a impactful season with us last year, playing in a full-time role and doing the things that he did. But so far, like I said, I'm good after seeing what they did last year, having one of the top-ranked draft class, and the free agents that they signed were contributors for the most part. And I have no doubt in them doing their research and them putting the right people in place, along with Bobby Wagner resigning, Zach Ertz resigning. So, I mean, I'm good where we are on day one. And now, we're going to see where things go. Got some other players that we need to take care of that's on our squad. Also need to fill some holes and, continue to work with the cap so we make sure we good. So, I mean, as of a first day of officially, training and being open, there's only a few players that I would have hoped that we would have been able to get. I mentioned I was talking to my fiance's father, who's down in Tampa Bay, and they were mentioning Hassan Reddick, getting him. I was hoping we were going to be able to at least get a conversation, but 1 year, $14 million, which is what he was asking for originally when he was a free agent last year. So they have a good situation down there in Tampa, so I can't be too mad. We also saw Khalil Mack sign back with the Chargers for 1 year, $18 million. So I know we definitely, and Josh Sweat, that's another candidate I was hoping that we would get. He ended up signing with the Cardinals for 4 years, $76 million.
So and Myles Garrett re-signing with the Browns.
I don't even want to talk about him, man, because he came out talking about it ain't about the money. He wanted the ring. He didn't feel like they were doing. Oh, we're gonna give you $40 million a year with $130 million guaranteed. You know what?
I bet. He's I bet.
I could go get some Fruit Loops and put a ring in my bowl at home. I'll take that $40 million because I would have loved to have him. But as I said before, Cleveland had to want to trade him. They said they weren't going to trade him. So that's why I didn't really get into the conversation, because until that door opened, they said they would turn down 2 first-round picks for that man because they're trying to get a new stadium. You can't put it on Deshaun Watson. You have to have a foundation for them to go to. Myles Garrett is the closest thing they had. If they would have let him walk, their whole stadium deal would have fell apart. So they had to back the truck up for him. And he used that as leverage. He knew that. It was a money grab. I'm not mad at him. I'm not hating on him. But don't come out and say you want a ring. Well, he had to play the game, so it is what it is. It's
he played it. Yeah, I mean, I think he played it right. I'm such a huge fan of his. He's an Aggie, and it was good times when he played college football. So I don't know. I was hoping we'd get him. Don't get me wrong. But I just, he's gonna get that much guaranteed money. You got to take the deal.
And then I just saw the Cowboys sound Javonte Williams. I was hoping we would be able to get a bite at him, even though I feel like we need a more speedy back because Robinson. I'm not really, after going to all the games at home last season and actually watching in person, he had stretches where he got happy feet behind the line. And I don't know where that came from, but when he's not running with his head down and running into the line and coming out on the other side, and he's trying to dance behind, and pick his hole, he's not the same running back. And I feel like Chris Rodriguez could, when they didn't have Rodriguez activated for two of the first two playoff games, I was hoping it wasn't going to come out to bite us because the first game, Robinson ain't really do much. Second game, he definitely bounced back, but I'm not really sold on Robinson. I mean, he overcame the gunshot in his knee and the robbery attempt, but if he don't run with that same ferocity, there's no point in him being out there.
I kind of agree with you on that. I'm not sold on him either. Champ, what are some of your thoughts?
I tend to agree with the group here with Robinson. Like he seems like he's more of a downhill power runner, not a speedy back. And I don't think he realizes that that's his pedigree, is that he runs between the tackles and he's not the guy who's going to make people miss. He's going to run people over, and he's going to be a punisher. And I did notice in a lot of those games that he did a lot more dancing than just powering through and just using his upper body strength to be able to get yardage and grind out drives and stuff like that. And my first thought was, brother, this is the NFL. This ain't Dancing with the Stars. Like, you got to run forward and get those tough yardages, and that's something that he's going to have to definitely do in this season, especially now when you have a Laramie Tunsil on the line and you have that offensive line that I'm pretty sure is going to be ready to go and push people backwards in order to make the lanes for him to run through and stuff like that. So Robinson is going to definitely have to get it together. Otherwise, they're going to have to definitely find a back that's either going to be that shifty, speedy back that's going to make people miss, or that pounding, grinding out running back that's going to be useful, especially to help set up not only the read option, but also the play action pass as well. So that's what Robinson's going to need to do here. Otherwise, he may see himself either in a diminished role or no longer having the starting job. What are some of Arun's thoughts, though? Because he's been sitting here patient.
Yes, it's true. How are you doing, Arun?
Good. I'm doing good. Yeah, the Cleveland Browns.
Sorry about the Wizards. That was a rough game for the Wizards, but
I think they were trying to lose that game on purpose because they didn't play Middleton or Smart. They didn't really want to.
Middleton was out with an injury.
Yeah.
Trust me, I had a parlay on that one. I'm a little upset. Sarr, I got to say, he's been playing a little bit better, getting more rebounds. He's still soft. I don't understand why they're using the way he is, but last game he had, I believe, 14 rebounds, so he won me a parlay on that one also. So
I love that betting is making CP3 watch the Wizards again.
Right.
It's sad. That's the sport that I don't watch is the sport I'm winning in. Hockey, I had a good weekend. I won some bets on the weekend, but for the most part, in football and hockey, because I have, I guess, too much inside looking at trying to break things down. With basketball, I'm just shooting at the hip because it is working. Like I'm watching the Sacramento New York game right now. I got a nice parlay in now because the Wizards traded Jonas, who I felt should have been starting over Sarr, and he had a 9.17 rebound game last night.
Yeah,
I needed a double-double, but yeah, it is what it is.
Did you watch the end of that last game against Toronto, Carol? Like that, I had to rewind and watch the previous game. Did you see?
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. The Wizards they actually playing some decent ball after they made some moves and got these young guys out there. They're a little bit inconsistent. You don't know who's going to shine each night. And Jordan Poole, I don't. He make me scratch my head. So I don't understand him sometimes. This Bama come up, take 2 steps across the half court and pulling up threes for no reason. He reminds me of Gilbert Arenas, and that's not a compliment.
I did love Gilbert Arenas, but Arun, what are some of your thoughts? First on the Commanders, but then I do want to get your thoughts on a buzzer beater that wasn't.
I just want to touch back on the Cleveland Browns because they picked up a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Kenny Pickett, so they're really
Shut
moving.
the fuck up. Shut the
On that note, I'll be back, Arun. You are the same. I gotta go let my dog out. I'll be right back.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
All right.
Yeah, the Commanders, the Jeremy Tunsil, he's like made the Pro Bowl, I believe, 5 times. So I think the Bears and other teams were upset that that's all the Commanders gave up to get him, and they didn't think he was available. So I think that's good that they're protecting Jaden Daniels. So I'm not sure about the defensive lineman pickup though. Kinlaw, they said, was like they thought he'd only get like $8 million over 3 years, like some Jets fans. So it was a little bit surprising, but we'll see how he fits into Dan Quinn's system, who's saying he's like an elephant defensive lineman, whatever that means. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm excited to see where the team is heading. It seems like we're making some pretty good decisions, and we definitely. I'm excited to see the tight end situation. I really liked him last year, and I really wanted to give him one more chance with this team. So I'm excited that Zach is back. And are we any other thoughts on any of the other signings?
Yeah, they also picked up re-signed John Bates. Like he was actually generating interest. The pass blocking tight end for the Commanders. He's really good at pass blocking. He was generating interest from other teams, so much so that there are rumors that he wasn't going to re-sign. So they picked him back up. Also got Trustway back for 1 more year. I think he's going to be year to year. Maybe he'll retire like soon, but overall, I like the direction that they're going. And Cooper Kupp's just became a free agent. The Rams are releasing him, so maybe Washington definitely needs another receiver with De'Ami Brown signing with the Jaguars, as Carol alluded to. So if they can pick up Cooper Kupp or even like Darius Slayton or somebody like that, that would be pretty big.
For sure. Interesting to see what we do here coming up. All right, let's switch back because I want to get back into the just the crazy ending for this Wizards game. So they were battling, a very close game in the fourth quarter with Toronto, and they thought they had taken just a very minor lead, and Toronto thought that it left his fingers right as the buzzer went off, but so in real time it looked like it was good, and the place went nuts. They stormed the court, they hugged it out, it was crazy, and then they went for a long video replay, and it was called back and stuff like that. So Arun, what are some of your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, like basically they were celebrating as if they won the game, and it was a layup attempt by Toronto. I forget the name of the player, but the Wizards actually had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, but they proceeded to blow it. And I thought I already knew the Wizards were going to win, but I watched the replay of it, and I was surprised when I saw Toronto. I was like, wait, isn't that a game winner? But the hand was still on the ball with 0 on the clock, and even Toronto's roster was surprised. The coach was surprised for the Raptors, and the Wizards pulled out a win in Toronto, which they usually don't do that anyways. But even if the Raptors are bad, it's still a quality win for the Wizards.
For sure. Champ, did you get a chance to see that crazy play?
I did not, but what I did get to see, and I saw it, the clip of it was Koulibaly posterizing that one dude in fourth quarter, and I was just like, that's why we got this kid, because this kid right here is something special. And I didn't get to see the play. I know I saw the alert about it, and thought, wow, what a, like, for once the Wizards got a nice lucky break of getting something going in their favor to give them a victory. And so hopefully, with all the moves that the Wizards have made recently, hopefully next season they can build on this. They have young pieces. Koulibaly starting to come into his own, and then they got the other rookie in there. Hopefully this team can start to be competitive over hopefully next season, if not the season after that. But I don't have a lot of faith, honestly.
For sure. Carol, what are your thoughts?
I didn't get a chance to see the crazy ending that you mentioned. I had it on the third TV because I had the OKC Denver game on the other TV. So the Wizards, like I said, they've been playing some solid ball. They definitely played better. The game against Toronto the other night was a better outcome, and they definitely played. But like I said, Sarr had 14 rebounds. I think that's the most that he's gotten all season. And just you didn't see that same hunger tonight. Going crashing the boards, and I don't think anyone had double-digit rebounds. Koulibaly, whatever his name is.
Koulibaly.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I called him C. He definitely has those moments. He just has to have that confidence game in and game out. Like he'll have flashes of it in certain times in the game. If he learns to play with that same confidence throughout the time he's on the court, then he can take that next step to the next level. But he's still young. He has that time to do it. But they're definitely trending in the right direction from where they started at the beginning of the season to where they are now. So hopefully they keep on progressing, and like I said, we'll see where the chips fall next year with more development.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited. There's some pieces here, and I don't know. I feel like they're actually going through a rebuild versus like for a lot of times they were half-assing it when they shouldn't have, and so you have to go through some growing pains to hopefully come out on the right side. So hopefully in a year or two we'll see some results from this. All right. Well, CP3, is there any other topics you wanted to talk about tonight? I wanted to give you a chance, and then I was going to talk a little soccer and wrestling with Champ, but I don't know. Have you been watching the WWE at all lately?
As I mentioned, now that it's on Netflix, it keeps on throwing me off because I normally have the basketball games on covering my bets, and I haven't been following closely probably for the last since I think I've maybe watched 2 episodes since they've been on Netflix because I keep on forgetting about it. So I'm really not up to date on it. I guess my parting shots would be about the Commanders. Would it be in the first day of free agency? I've had several people reach out to get my take on the team and the moves they're making. I didn't even mention the defensive tackle that they got that the Jets have released, and some of the naysayers that's already talking about it's a bad deal. 3 years, $45 million, 30 of it guaranteed, which means he's really for 3 years, $15 million for a 27-year-old former first-round pick that is good at run stopping, which is what the team needed. And then you address the tackle position with, giving up some draft capital, but you're addressing the issue that needed to be addressed. So all I'm going to tell some of the fans that still, having PTSD from Daniel Snyder and his regime of, questioning the moves and wondering why they did this and your expectations and who you think they should pick up. This team went to the NFC Championship game and won 12 games for the first time. And how long under the first year? So I have full confidence in they're going to make the right decision. They did it this year. Why not think they can do it again? So just relax, see what happens, and then go from there. Don't jump on here going off about who you think we should have picked up and who we didn't get. I'm like, you said that last year and look where we ended up. So why don't you just be quiet and let us end up where we end up and be good to go. So hail to the Commanders. Good job by the Capitals doing what they do. Wizards are trying to rebuild again and again and again. I'm anxious to see what the Nationals do this year. Spring training is already in effect. I haven't watched any of the games, but I'm interested to see what they're going to do. They made some interesting moves that I'm still looking at. I haven't been able a chance to fully focus on it, but it's that same trend that we had in 18 and 19 when we had the 3 championships by 3 different franchises where we felt like the DMV was coming into its own. It might take a little bit longer than we wanted, but things are finally starting to turn in the DMV's favor in all 4 sports. So hopefully we can continue to ride this wave and continue to progress and develop and become better sports organizations and give us something positive to cover when I'm on the show and when you're doing the show.
Right. First of all, I wanted to just reminisce before we let you go. 9 years, man. It's been an incredible run. It's crazy that we started on a March right as we were gearing up for a Caps playoff run. That was one of our first episode was about right before the Caps make the playoffs, because I believe that everything's a little later now. And so we started in the March 17th. That was a general one, and then our first real episode in April was really that playoff run and building up towards it. But we talked about the Commanders. We called them the Redskins. We've called it the Washington football team. It's been an incredible run. Starting off just as a blog that Carol did with an idea where we talked to. You went on the show over with Hurt and Black GOP gave us a chance for a Monday night show, and we did radio for a while, and then we switched to this format, and it's grown and changed and evolved so much over the years. It's been an incredible run with you, Carol. I'm so excited that we get to go into season 10. I didn't know if we would make it this long. 10 years is a crazy thing. Yeah. When we started, we had no idea it was going to go this long. Season 10 could have a record for OV, could have another cup. We haven't even talked about the defenders, right? They could, who knows what, year to year, those teams change so much. So who knows with that team? We've got the Nats. We're talking about DC United in a minute with Champ, but they got their first victory of the season. They had the best goal scorer last year. If he can, he scored a goal in this game, and so it's a fun time to be a DC sports fan, I'm excited. Hopefully, I really want to go to another UFL game with you, Carol, and do what we did last year. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna get to some defenders games this year. At least we're gonna try to. I got some things popping off where I might not be as local as normal. I got my social media influencer coming in this weekend, and we have to plot out our itinerary for the year. So once I get the itinerary,
once you figure that out, we should talk and get Champ and everybody else, and we can all go to a game, because we'll miss the first 2 games of the season live, previewing them. So we'll come in, we'll recap the first 2 games. That first episode in April, just real quick for people who don't know, and we'll preview it real fast, but March Madness, it's going to be the championship game that night. We have 3 weeks of Capitals hockey to talk about, 2 weeks of Defenders, maybe something with the Wizards. We got 3 weeks of soccer as well. So it's going to be a crazy season 10 premiere on April the 6th, I think it is. So people should definitely stay tuned for that. And then I also, if OV breaks records, stuff like that, we will do pop-up streams. Like, I don't care if I'm in Colorado at the end of this month, I will go live from whatever device I have. And, if it happens, we will definitely broadcast it for sure.
All right, man. I'm about to get up out of here because I got to fix me something. As you've seen, I've been partaking in some adult beverages as I've been watching my parlays go down with no overtime games. So y'all have a good rest of the show. I'm about to bounce, and y'all be easy. Catch you in season 10.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, CP3.
Yeah.
I'm super happy to have you here.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
What's up, brother?
All right. With that, we're gonna switch over to gears. Let's talk a little soccer, real fast. And
Hey, bro, you want to hang out and talk soccer with us?
I haven't been watching soccer.
well, do you?
I can talk a little bit. I guess I don't know.
You can hang out, or we can let you go. What would you like to do?
I'll just hang out. I'll add commentary if I need to.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, champ. Big time victory for DC United. Want to break it down for us?
Absolutely. So it was a scoreless first half for DC United against Sporting Kansas City. What a name, Sporting Kansas City. It was a scoreless first half. There were a couple yellow cards in there, but then the second half is where they exploded with goals. Tommy of KC finally got them on the board in the 53rd minute on a nice goal there to get him to 1-0. But then, as DC United was attacking in the KC defensive zone, in the KC zone, there was a penalty that was called. They were driving, got tripped up, so they got a penalty kick. And of course, the reigning Golden Boot Award winner, Christian Benteke, took the PK and, of course, converted it to tie the score up at 1-1 in the 60th minute. And then 8 minutes later, in the 68th minute, on a beautiful crosser and a header, Kojima, what was his name? Kojima makes a nice header and puts it in the back of the net to take a 2-1 lead, and they were able to hold on to that lead throughout the remainder of the game in order to get their first victory of the year and a crucial 3 points on the board for DC United. So their first two games they've had draws, they've gotten a point each, but here they were able to get a full 3 points with the victory. Sporting KC, they have yet to win a game. This is their third loss on this early part of the season. So a big win for DC United, and to be able to do it at home at Audi Field, and to be able to do it this way with goals within a 10-minute span in order to get the victory is a big thing. And the first victory is always the sweetest one. So hopefully they're able to build off of this one. And again, Benteke he's just something special. I tell you what, with that goal, he had 5 shots. He had 5 shots total, 2 of them on goal. And then, of course, the one goal he had was the PK goal. And Jose Kojima, who was a midfielder, had the other goal with the header. And so DC United now has 5 points and is 5th overall in the MLS. So right now they're looking pretty good so far, but hopefully they're able to add to that.
Yep. So they have 5 points. Right above them, FC Cincinnati has 6 points. Columbus is in third with 7, tied with Miami. And Philadelphia is the top team right now with 9 points. Right behind DC United is Charlotte with 4, Red Bulls, Chicago, NYC, and Nashville, and Atlanta United all have 4 points. So we're just squeaking by 1 point above them. We have a goal differential of +1, which is good. I was looking at the goal differential of Sporting KC. That sucks for them. They're a -3. That means all 3 games they lost by 1 goal. So, they were in all of them, but couldn't get a win in any of them. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting schedule coming up here. So the remaining games in March, we play Montreal at 7:30 on next Saturday, March 15th. And then the following Saturday, that Montreal game is in DC. And then we're at Orlando City SC at 7:30. It's March 22nd. And then the last one's Saturday, March 29th against the Columbus Crew. This one's in Audi Field at 7:30. And then, I guess our show is April the 7th. I said 6th earlier because Sunday, April the 6th at San Jose Earthquakes. It's a Sunday game, a 5 o'clock game there. So we'll be recapping 4 soccer matches when we come back in season 10. But I'm happy to see DC United is off to a good start. And that's another team I need to make it out for. It's actually, I'll be honest, champ, I've been looking at jobs, and one of the jobs is to run video and social media for DC United. And it's, if I didn't have a family where I had to do stuff at nights and weekends, I would totally do this job. And it's like calling to me. Also, the Capitals video one with Monumental is also out there. And I'm like, God dang it. These are like dream jobs for me, champ. Running video and social media for, these teams. But it's just, when you have a family, it's tough. But I've been looking, and it's like, oh man, it's right there. What an amazing opportunity that would be to do that officially, like for my job. But it's tempting, especially the DC United one, just because then you could have like winters off in theory, um, but anyway, I'm excited to see where they are, and I gotta definitely make it out to another game. I don't think I've never gone to a soccer game at Audi Field. So the last time I saw them was when they were at RFK. So it's been a while. So I definitely got to make it out there.
I've never been to a DC United game, so it would be great to go.
Yeah, we should definitely do both of those this summer. I'd definitely be down, especially because Audi Field's so metroable, So, Arun, have you been to a game, a soccer game at Audi Field?
Yeah, I saw Rooney once. It was pretty cool. Audi Field's pretty nice. Also to see the defenders, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. That's we should get a big group for the defenders and also for soccer. That'd be fun. It'd be cool to do some live gigs from those in the upcoming months, maybe, especially while I have a little bit of time. Flexibility for sure. But Champ or Arun, any other thoughts, those DC sports topics you want to talk about? And welcome on in. Arun is in. Adrian is in chat, Arun, so 9 years, Caps are killing it, man. Champ is enjoying a drink of his choice, and Adrian says he has not been to Audi Field yet, so he's got to come join us. And Smarticus just came in and said, "Happy 9 years, Robbie," and so welcome on into Smarticus as well. So lots of friends joining us for this is the third hour of tonight's show. We are counting down. If you see down below, it's a 9-hour subathon. We are going to be doing 9 hours of streaming between today and the 17th, which is the official 9 years of streaming celebration. But we are celebrating 9 years of streaming tonight on this podcast, and we're going to be doing 3 2-hour art stream. I'm so excited about tomorrow's stream, Champ. I've got it set up now, working. I've updated all the overlays, so now I can do art horizontally on it, and I can use the camera from the iPad while I'm drawing on it, so you can see like my focus. Like it's like a second camera. Like it's kind of cool. That can be a camera, and you can watch what I'm drawing live. And so I'm going to learn how to make a collage tomorrow, and I'm going to learn how to do animated GIFs in Procreate. Those are my 2 goals for tomorrow's stream. And then on Friday, I'm going to learn to use the Apple Pencil. So I need to get an adapter for it because it's an older pencil and a newer iPad. So when I get that adapter, we're going to try to then use the pen to do some really cool stuff on Friday. And then we have a special guest on Monday, and he's a Procreate master, and I'm going to have him come and give me some tips and tutorials once I've now gotten some of this initial stuff out of the way. So 6 hours of art coming up on the channel. Tomorrow 10 to noon. Friday noon to 2 is the estimated start time. It might be 12:30 to 2:30, but sometime around then. And then again 10 to noon on the following Monday as well. That will finish up the 9 hours that you see in the clock below. I may also do a pop-up stream, bonus stream this weekend in Pokemon stream. We will see if that happens. But lots of fun stuff to celebrate here as we celebrate 9 years of streaming. And Robbie's going to become a pro streamer in year 10. Bank it. There you go. I like it, Smarticus. So I do appreciate everyone for tuning in and being a part of this. Carly with the sub earlier. We're at 13 subs. And so hopefully Vegas give me 9-1 odds. I like it. Anyway, Arun, I'm going to let you give your final thoughts. Do you have any takeaways from 9 years of doing this with us? Things that you want to talk about DC Sports or anything at all before we let you go?
Yeah, just crazy that 9 years ago around this time called in around about March Madness, and we're a week away from March Madness, I guess, starting again. So it's pretty crazy. That's been 9 years. Couple DC championships with the Nationals, Capitals, and Mystics, and the Valor, I suppose, even though they're no longer in existence. And hopefully we'll see a couple more in the years to come.
Yeah, for sure. Arun, real quickly, I have to put you on the spot. I know a lot of my friends love March Madness, sometimes take days off to watch March Madness. Are you that first Thursday? Are you gonna take the time off to watch it, or are you just gonna watch stuff after work?
I'm not going to say I'm going to take time off, but that would be crazy.
Fair enough. All right. I was gonna offer if you could be that I was thinking about doing a pop-up stream where I watch some of the games live and stuff like that, and I was gonna invite you if you had taken it.
I might be available, but we'll see. I'm a very diligent worker.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So there might be on that Thursday of March Madness a week. Because the games start at like 10 o'clock, right, Arun?
12 o'clock, I think.
They start at noon. Okay. All right, maybe I'll do a 12 to 2 stream. I want to do like a 2 hour stream, not like a long one, but just covering some of the live action, in my opinions. 'Cause I've never been able to do that before, and so that might be the last stream before I go on a real stream break. We're doing a podcast break here for a couple of weeks, but I'll be doing streams throughout the rest of this week and next week as well. And then I'm going to Colorado for 2 weeks to try to get away and decompress and have a vacation with my family. And then I'm going to come back in April, and I'm going to stream learning a bunch of new art stuff every morning, different things, Procreate. We're going to do new stuff in Canva. We're going to build a new website. We're going to build some stuff for the season 10 of Sports on the Hill podcast, animate some things. So lots of fun projects in April that you'll see on the channel as well. So I'm excited to take a little bit of a full break and then come back and really try to stream a bunch of things I've always wanted to do before. So I hope that people follow it. You can follow. I stream when I don't do the sports show on my personal Facebook, on my YouTube channel, and on my Twitch channel, and on Kick as well. So you can catch me on any of those platforms. And I mentioned it earlier, the audio podcast is going away with season 10. There are plenty of places to archive it. I suggest the YouTube is the easiest way to watch an archived video, because what's cool with StreamerBot, if people don't know this, every chat champ that is in my Twitch chat gets sent over there as a copy. So I don't have to worry about archiving it anymore, whatever. People want to read the chat, it's on the side, and the video is there. It's perfect. So I'm like, there's no sense, like, why go to get an audio version when you can just click on that and listen in the background. So I'm sorry, I just don't want to Spotify some shady practices. I'm okay moving on. We did it for 9 years, and the show will continue. If people are listening to this audio podcast that I am going to hopefully put up in the next month, just know that you can catch it a lot sooner on Twitch or on YouTube. So I encourage people in the future to go there. So it'd be a shame if there was a bunch of subs during your break. I mean, you can sub. You can sub whenever you'd like. I have no feelings on that. It's March and there's Madness noted. There might be a nutty tournament. Yes, I'm so excited. March Madness. I've never done a live March Madness stream during the day before, so that could definitely be. What? Holy Moses. Smarticus. What? Smarticus just gave. There's gonna be a giveaway now. Holy moly! All right. Wow. Yeah. So during the streamathon, if you give, if it hits the goal, which the thing is going crazy right now with emotes, then So you see at the very bottom, 10 of 9 subs in a stream for a merch giveaway. So let's do that now. Smarticus, since you are the one who donated to this, I'm going to let you pick the thing that gets gifted. Can be anything valued at, what was it? It was 35 or less. So you can feel free to pick any of those. But yeah, that's amazing. I really appreciate it. So let me know in chat, Smarticus. And let me pull up. There you go. The SportsOTP Classic T-shirt. Let's take a look at that one. Love it. This is a great one. All right, and we are gonna gift it to Twitch chat, and all right, sorry, I'm just setting this up right now. Okay.
Hey, Robbie, while you do that, I will be right back.
All right, sounds good. All right, Arun, when was the last time that you did your stream? I just wonder if we should be shouting that out.
It's been a while, but I should probably get back on it. I think I'll make one in 2 days.
Nice, awesome. All right, with that, we're gonna be. I think it should be starting pretty soon. And thank you for the level 3 hype train. What a cool moment. I was hoping to do a giveaway during this, and there you go. Let me see here. It should be. Anyway, it's frozen on the thing, but it is going to happen. So stay tuned, and here it is. If you type in new giveaway, you can do enter to win. So everybody in chat that's here right now, I want everyone to do enter. Arun, Champ, Adrian, and make sure, Smarticus, you have to enter for this. So please do. I will be excited to see who gets to win this. So yeah, thank you everyone for being a part of this giveaway. I was like, why did the bot? So classic was censored because of the ass in classic, which
That's pretty fucking funny.
It's so funny.
That's fucking hilarious, bro.
That
is hilarious.
I had to put that out there. There it is! Champ! All right, click that redeem button in your chat, and yeah, so
that's a W.
Great stuff. I'm so happy. I'm happy that Champ did it. Nice, love it. So thank you, Smarticus. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. That's one of the very first ones we've ever done live on stream for the giveaway. So thank you, because I really wanted to get to do one for my subathon. So I really appreciate it, Smarticus. And Champ, you so deserve it. You've been such a huge part of this show, especially with Carol taking some time and doing some other projects. I really appreciate all of the heavy lifting on the co-hosting side of it for the second hour and third hour of in streams, and also jumping in and chat during the weekday stuff as well. So thank you, Smarticus. I really appreciate it. And so I just want to give a shout out to all the people that got subs. Adrian got a sub in that, so that's awesome. Make sure to thank him. We got Mark Streeter Rocks, Wingster, we got Eddie Brown Music. Atina, there you go, 30 months. Oh no, Tina, you just missed the giveaway. And Champ got it, and you've gotten a shirt recently. But we just thanks to Smarticus, we hit our sub goal, which is awesome for the subathon. And yeah, so we got a shirt that was given away. I was just going through the people that got subs. Eddie Brown Music, who I love to death, is a good friend of the channel. I've made a lot of his emotes. Juggalo for Life, a good friend of the channel. Will O'Keefe's Piano, one of my favorite lurkers on the channel, and I love his music, definitely. If you don't know who Will is, definitely go check out Will O'Keefe's Piano. Ghostly Miko, and then we got Godlike Cam, who's been lurking, and I appreciate the lurk all stream. And then Richard Loves Music, who also has been lurking, and I appreciate the lurk. I'm just shouting you out because you now have subs as well. So all the lurkers got them in addition. So Smarticus, you did well. And yes, Will is my kind of silly too. I love him a lot, and I'm hoping, actually, if things line up on Friday's stream, where I'm going to do art for 2 hours, I'm hoping to raid into Willow Keys. That is my goal. If he is streaming, I never get to raid Will, and so I think that would be super fun to do some art and then be able to do that. Also, Tuesday's show, which is tomorrow, I'm learning how to do a collage and animation. Friday's show, it's going to be viewer request. So I'm going to set up a redeem that people can use and request me to draw and stuff like that. And I'm going to bring in graphics from the internet and make collages for everybody. So it's going to be a collage redeem for everybody. I'm not going to draw things from scratch, but I'm going to take that, I'm going to draw over it, make it silly, and cut stuff up and move stuff around and use it as a way to practice some of my skills. So that'll be Friday's noon to 2 stream. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody for being a part of that, and thank you again for that hype train. And all right, let's sorry, Arun, any final thoughts before we let you go, and then we'll switch to wrestling talk?
No, that's about it. I have a Samsung tablet for the pen, but I don't think that really works for your class.
Right.
That's maybe I can pick up an iPad.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yeah. So I love this iPad. It's funny because my mom got it for Zach, and I'm totally stealing it because it's like the new Mini, which does all the stuff that the Pro used to do that was huge but shrunk down, which is like amazing. But yeah, Arun, it's been amazing. 9 years. You were one of our very first guests on one of our very first streams. In fact, I think you were our first guest for March Madness. And, you've gotten to cover so many different sports with us over the years. And I really appreciate all that you've contributed for all the different sports. And I'm super excited to have you back on in Season 10.
Sure. Have a good week with your streams and your trip to Colorado.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And Adrian agrees that you are the best. It's funny because Adrian and Arun were in a carpool together years and years ago, decades maybe. So it's kind of fun that he could be in chat and you're live on stream. But I appreciate you, Arun. And with that, we're going to switch to some wrestling talk. I did watch SmackDown last week. It was a great episode, Champ. I unfortunately had too many things going on today with interviewing 5 people to really watch Raw. But I do feel free to spoil anything that you think should be mentioned that was a big news items from Raw and from SmackDown. And then give me some of your thoughts on AEW as well.
Well, let's start with AEW. They just had a pay-per-view Sunday night. It was their first pay-per-view of the year, Revolution. But no one is talking about the matches themselves, which were really good, especially the Hollywood ending match between Mariah May and Toni Storm for the Women's Championship, which was a bloody, violent affair that involved glass and champagne bottles and tables and all kind of weaponry and blood all over the place. What everybody is talking about is there's a new movie that just came out that's a biopic of the life of Mildred Burke. For those who don't know who Mildred Burke is, Mildred Burke was one of the first women's wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling. She was the one that pioneered women's wrestling. and they made a movie about it. It's called Queen of the Ring, and they're heavily advertising it and everything like that. So everybody's talking about it. But one of the actresses for that movie, her name is Damaris Lewis. She plays Babs Wingo in the movie, who was one of the first Black women to be in professional wrestling. So she was there with Kelly Berglund, and as well as the director of the movie, Ash Albison. They were in the crowd, and they were doing an interview with Tony Schiavone. And Ash asked the actresses, what did they learn about professional wrestling when doing this movie? And Damaris said out of her rabbit ass mouth the following quote: "One thing I learned about pro wrestlers, y'all know you're going to win before anybody else does. So thank you for teaching me that," end quote. Let me just break something down, ladies and gentlemen. Longtime wrestling fans know that wrestling is predetermined. We know this. But there are more casual and newer wrestling fans that don't know this. And you don't want to alienate them by telling them, oh, by the way, this match is predetermined. And so basically there was an audible groan when she said that, because that's an unwritten rule. People are not supposed to know that the matches are predetermined, yet she put it out there that they're predetermined. And it took away from what was a really good pay-per-view. And it's really bad. It's sad that something like that took away from what was a really good pay-per-view. Now, we'll talk more about Revolution this coming weekend on No Spots, but it was a really good pay-per-view. Now, shifting gears to WWE, SmackDown was really good. You had 3 championship matches on the card with only one changing hands. That's the U.S. title. LA Knight is once again the U.S. champion, though the finish was a bit rushed. We talked about that on the podcast on Saturday, that the finish was rushed because they were coming up on the time, because it was closing in on 11 o'clock, and they ended up rushing the finish, but LA Knight still ended up winning the title. But I think what most people are talking about was Cody Rhodes' promo in response to John Cena turning heel and beating him up the way that he did. And it was a really impassionate promo, really emotional promo, and it was really good. If you haven't had a chance to see it, go out of your way to go see this promo. It's really, really good. Cody even doubled down on that on Raw this week as well. But I think what most people are going to talk about on this episode of Raw is the cage match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Awesome steel cage match. The ending was crazy. I really don't want to spoil it, because it's something you just have to see. Okay, you just have to see it, because it was just so incredible. So, but Raw was pretty good tonight. Was pretty good this week. Io Sky had a face-to-face with Bianca Belair, but of course Rhea had to get involved, and so I sensed this when Rhea lost the title last week. I said there's gonna be a triple threat, and I think they're setting that in motion to have a triple threat between Rhea, Bianca, and Io for the women's world title at WrestleMania. And you know what? I'm not mad about that at all, because I think all 3 of those women will put on a really, really good match at WrestleMania for that championship. So, but Raw was good this week. For those who may follow it, New Japan is in the midst of its New Japan Cup tournament, which is the lone tournament on the schedule that is not round robin, meaning it's a single elimination tournament. The second round begins Tuesday, with matches on Tuesday and on Thursday. And then they will hit the quarterfinals this weekend. So the tournament goes by really quickly because it is a single elimination. You don't face everybody. You just face whoever you're facing in the next round. And then you move on, and you move on, and you move on. So that's going on. So if you want to learn more about New Japan, we have a podcast series for that. It's called the New Japan Cup Recap, which we will be streaming live on Twitch this coming Thursday, where we will recap the first and the second round of the New Japan Cup and get you ready for the quarterfinals and the semifinals as well. But that's what's going on in wrestling right now. Also, what we talked about in the podcast this past week is that Lex Luger is finally getting his just due and is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. It took forever. Vince McMahon, when he was in charge, held a grudge because Lex Luger left WWF and immediately jumped to WCW. And because of that, Vince held a grudge, which is why he had been held out of the Hall of Fame for so long. But Triple H doesn't hold that grudge, and now Lex Luger is finally getting his recognition of being in the Hall of Fame. A man who was a former multiple-time world champion and one of the most recognizable figures of the late 80s and early 90s of wrestling. He's finally getting his just due. I cannot wait for that Hall of Fame ceremony, which they announced on today that it's not taking place in the venue where SmackDown is going to be, which is the T-Mobile Arena. It's actually taking place at a theater close to Allegiant Stadium. So for people who want to go to the Hall of Fame, they have to leave SmackDown early to get to the venue to watch the Hall of Fame ceremony. So it's something different that WWE is doing when it comes to the Hall of Fame ceremony this year, as opposed to doing it right after SmackDown is over. So that's something big right there. But that's about it when it comes to the wrestling.
Nice. Yeah, definitely everyone should go check out Champ. I'll throw the command in here, but the True No Spots pod, they cover wrestling. They'll cover it for the next 3 weeks while we're away, and it's super fun to watch the watch-alongs. I watch them. Sometimes I'm lurking and listening, and sometimes I'll rewatch some key moments I know are exciting, and it's always great to get their reactions, as well as their full thoughts on their podcast, and Sith does a great job, too. I'll do the Sith command as well, if you want to check out his show, The Basement, as well, and lots of great content on their TikTok as well. I need to add your TikTok to the Champ command before season 10 for sure. And there's a lot of great golf content on there. He was doing that on the channel, on the Twitch, but also you can get highlights and stuff on TikTok as well. So lots of great stuff happening across the True Radio Network, which I'm super happy, because now this means the True Radio Network's been around for 12 years, right? Because, we started just a couple of years in with them. I think they were on for maybe 2 or 3 years before us. Maybe it's 11 years. So, so it's cool that we've been able to extend the life of something that was great, that was created by our friend Black GOP, and Hurt is doing big things right now. I'm excited for his next adventure. We'll definitely have to get him back on in season 10 as well. Being our very first producer, letting Carol and I have the opportunity to be front facing and having somebody else field those calls. It's kind of changed formats now. We've got so many regular guests and stuff. We do it all through video. But if people really ever want to be a part of it, message me on Facebook. And I'm always down to talk. And I have different people on this show. We've had new people almost every season of this podcast. I think of new people from this season. We had Rio Robinson, way back. And he's been blowing up, on his coverage. Lots of awesome people all season long. I think of like Dujanay and Tim, and of course Anna, who's wish her a happy birthday again. It's still got 20 minutes left to her birthday. We've been so lucky to have so many wonderful contributors across all the different sports, and I'll be totally transparent. I don't pay anybody to do this. Everyone does this out of the love of Washington DC sports, which I do too. The money that I make from all these subs and stuff goes right back into building the website and doing all that sort of stuff. And it's such a passion project, and I'm just so proud that we've been able to do it for 9 years. And it's just what an incredible opportunity. We've got to interview some really incredible people, Olympians and former Redskins players, and other people that have been well liked in the radio world, and all sorts of different people, former players, from generations gone by, in fact, so it's just lots of different cool people throughout the years. I think of people like Janaea, who just called in from the other coast of Canada, right? Just people have come from near and far. Davey is eating a sandwich, wanted to be on tonight's show, but he's at a party tonight. But so many great people. I couldn't even name them all. And thank you so much. 5 years ago, we switched to Twitch. I didn't know how it was going to go, right? And I'm just so happy that we made that switch, and now we multi-stream and we broadcast across 4 different platforms. So really great stuff. Champ, any final sports thoughts? And then I was going to do a little demonstration of some of the art that we'll see tomorrow. But any final sports thoughts before I switch the screens around?
Not really any final sports thoughts. I do want to say congratulations to you guys on hitting 9 years of doing this. There are a lot of podcasts out there, especially fan-made podcasts, that don't last this long. I'm lucky enough that No Spots is about to finish its 6th season when WrestleMania hits, and we're going to end up in season 7. I know that a couple months ago, in a bit of like frustration, I said that this season might be the last, but I'm starting to get my passion back for doing it. And as such, I would want to, continue to do it, and maybe I'll hit 10 years eventually and stuff like that. But either way, you know, something like this doesn't happen very often, where you get a podcast that goes this long and is still this consistent and this informative. And so to make it this far, I wish you guys the best. Hopefully you guys continue on for a little bit longer down the line. And this is what makes my Monday, is that being able to come on here and talk about the Commanders, talk about the Wizards when they were actually good, talk about the DC United as someone who rarely watches soccer, but I pay attention to DC United. Talk about the Defenders. Talk about, listen to you guys talk about the Capitals and how good or how bad they're doing. We don't get this type of really biased yet unbiased DC sports talk. And you guys are doing it, and doing it well. And that's what I appreciate about being a part of this. And I'm glad I've been a part of this for at least 5 or 6 of the last 9 years.
Yeah.
And, I'm hopeful to be a part of it for more years.
Of course, you're such a pivotal part of it now, and I love that we met, through you doing different shows on the network as well, and then meeting you in person and being able to then expand your roles over here and doing live shows, watching football games and going to games, and it's just been really cool to watch this friendship grow, and you and Carol and Tim and Dan and all of you guys are like brothers to me. It's been such a cool experience to create a bond covering these teams through the ups and the downs, and we've gotten to celebrate the highs, personally, and for each other, and the lows, and family members, and jobs, and all sorts of different things. And it's been really, there have been times where I've gone on paternity leave and Carol picked up the slack, and there's been times where Carol's doing big things with business and I've picked up the slack. And it's cool that we have such a great team of over 10 people now, that we can really mix and match any given week. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's one of the very few shows I see on Twitch that have constantly rotating people and always having, like, we never have a show really with less than 4 people. It's very rare. It happens once in a while, but often it's 6, 7, 8, 9 people. And coming in and out, each talking about their favorite sports team, and I really love that, because that was the dream, was to not have to talk about sports for 2 minutes about your team you like, but to really get to sit here and talk to me for 45 minutes about it. And who cares if there's 5 people on the screen, right? We all get our time. Some episodes maybe more than others, but we all get our word in. And I like that. And so with that, I also didn't know how long this was going to go, but I'm happy that we made it this far.
I gotta say, this podcast was definitely the best thing to have, especially having you guys, especially after my father passed in 2023, and being able to come on here and to kind of distract myself from such a tragic thing to happen of losing someone that I looked up to, and to be able to come on here and still talk sports and things like that was like a lifesaver, because I don't know what would have happened had I not had this outlet to come here and be like, come here and just talk sports and just just have some sense of normalcy, because that month of December 2023 was a rough month because of my father passing, it being like a couple weeks before Christmas, a couple weeks before my son's birthday, and having to deal with all of that. To have this podcast here as sort of like that escape was absolutely just the most beneficial thing to have. And of course, my own podcast as well.
It's kind of like we have like a men's club here. Like we could have a conversation and stuff like that we would be having if you were sitting on the couch with me, but we can do it, at distance, and then people can join in and give their thoughts and help decide where the conversation goes and chat. And I love that, where it's, an opportunity, for us to have that camaraderie. A couple of weeks ago, I was feeling very down about, my employment situation, and coming here and having some sense of normalcy, and be able to talk to you guys, is huge. It lifted up my
I remember we had to talk you into it, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's
I
not
wasn't
bury the
sure.
lead here. We had to talk you into it.
There was a lot going wrong that night, though, to be fair. C4 got in an accident. There was it was a dicey evening, and I was like, is there signs saying maybe we should take a week off? But I'm happy I didn't, but it was just like one thing after another.
I will say this. I wouldn't call it a men's club per se, because you got Janaea.
Yeah, we have women,
yes. You got Anna.
I meant more the energy, not like it's but I do. I mean, it's a great point, because so few sports shows are lucky enough to have such talented women on their team. It is, Women's Appreciation Month, I believe, in March, right? So, and with that,
International Women's Day was this past Saturday.
There you go. And so the fact that we had Janaea and C4 on, and it's Anna's birthday, to have the three of those on has been such a huge thing, to be able to talk hockey.
By the way, Anna, if you're hearing this, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, for sure. I hope that you're having the best trip. But yeah, I appreciate it, champ, because it means a lot to me, and it's cool to build something from the ground up, and really, we don't have millions of viewers or anything crazy like that, but just the joy to be able to talk sports with people that I care about is more than, any number of views is worth to me, so, often I don't even turn on the view count or even worry about chatting across 4 chats, because I'd rather just talk to you guys. And if people are chatting, then that's a bonus, and it's been really incredible here. I did want to showcase just a little bit. We've got about 12 minutes left of the first 3 hours of our streamathon. I did want to show people kind of what it looks like. Hold on, I gotta do a couple of things to switch the screens. Just give me one moment here. But what I'm doing is I'm making my iPad a co-host. And what you can do once you do that is you can start a second camera. You can see. Hi. What's also cool is then you can screen share the whole screen, start a broadcast. And then I can flip away from here. We can go to Procreate. And I was just playing around with my son earlier. We were just making a fun drawing. But we'll just make something new real quickly here to celebrate 9 years. So 4K square. What size do I want to do? We'll just do a screen size one. So there you go. So you can pinch to zoom, right? And I am going to try my brand new screen out here. I have not tried this one out. I built it just before. This is kind of a test for tomorrow. I guess gotta make that participants go away. And there we go. So you can see right over here, I can actually see the other camera of whoever's talking right now on my iPad. So it's kind of cool if I'm doing like an interview and stuff like that. I am going to swipe mine away, And so it's just going to be me and Champ on screen. But what's great is on times where if, like, Champ wasn't, I could swipe it out and then you could see my front-facing camera. So it's cool that I can toggle between them, Champ. You see what I'm saying? So if I swipe this button out, it adds a third screen up there, which I need to update the shape of it a little bit to have a second window. But it's designed perfectly right now for 2. Right? There you go. So this is Procreate, Champ. So I got this. It's $13 on the iPad store. And you get it, and we have multiple iPads in our house. So you get it for the whole entire family. So my daughter now has it on her iPad. This is my son's iPad. So I'm going to teach them how to do art on it. And so they don't need Photoshop or anything because you can import Photoshop into this. You can have layers just like you have with Photoshop. You can import Photoshop files with all their layers and information into it. And I believe you can even make animations with it. So I haven't tried that out. That's going to be my practice for tomorrow. But you can draw with these different things. It's great. You just tap up here in the upper corner, and you can choose your color, and you can choose the range. And then you can, in the upper corner, you can see what the color is in the upper right-hand corner. So with that, we can just, choose red because Sports on the Hill podcast is red. And so you can tapping with 2 fingers undoes stuff, but you can write, on it like this. So I definitely want to get the pen because I'll be able to have more precision. But you can also zoom in and choose the size of the cursor. And then you can write large. But then I'll pinch it and see how it's just a part of it, right? And so then I can zoom over here and I can do OTHP, right? And if I wanted to use the eraser, let me double tap. So I got to make the eraser smaller and make it full opacity. And so you can start to erase away at stuff, right? So this is how to make a basic layer, but with this you could have multiple layers, right? And so I could draw something that then appears beneath it. And what's also great is I can go and I could take screenshots of graphics. I could import pictures from the camera roll. I could go to Safari, find a picture, search live, and you can watch me do it. Grab an image, bring it forward, copy it, paste it into here, make collages, cut away things, smudge them together. And so I'm going to play with, drawing and learning this program live on air tomorrow. So again, we're going to start around 10 o'clock and end around noon. I'll probably create some graphics. I'm going to make one for my son, a collage of all of his favorite things. Then I'm going to make an animation. And I might also do something to celebrate 9 years of the podcast as a graphic. So those are the 3 projects I want to work on tomorrow for 2 hours. But it's really fun what you can do with it and the layers. So this one I made today on stream, just as my very first crack at just drawing, right? But you can see, when I go back into it, I could obviously go and refine stuff, color things in, erase away, and really get to the detail, right? So, using the smudge tool, you can, it's a different brush. Hold on, it's smudging with a current brush. So let's double tap this, make it a round brush with a stroke, done. And so you can, forgot here. Am I on the wrong layer? I might be on the wrong layer. So we'll go layer. Oh yeah, there you go. Let's go back to this head layer. So we can go there, and you could smudge it, right? So you can grab different brushes, opacities, sizes. So here we can go to like a jagged brush. Oops. So you can sort of smudge it, right? So you can up the opacity, which would make it smudge more. Right, so I'm just playing right now, but you can kind of see that I could draw with different sorts of brushes and colors, and you can do elements, see, like this, all sorts of different stuff that you could do on it. So right, so I'm gonna undo all this, but what's cool is you can go back to the gallery. You could take one of these things, you could duplicate the whole project, start over. So I was just playing around with this picture that I found. So here's like hidden layers. You can erase away parts of layers, right? So you can do all sorts of crazy stuff, right? So this is just me. I've only had this program for a day, but I do have a background in art, so I'm trying to interface, my ability, and I'm trying not to be so reliant on Photoshop. I did that for 25 years. I know I can do it. I kind of want to learn some other industry standards. I also want to practice illustrating a little bit more, like using a pen and drawing and things like that. So I thought this would be kind of a fun program for me to learn. And then I can also teach it to my children as well, which I thought would be kind of fun. And every day I can show them what I design and then show them how I made it. And then during airplane trips and stuff like that, they could be drawing and doing stuff. So I thought that would be a great way for them to do art, because they always want to be coloring. And then you don't have to bring markers and all that sort of stuff, and I think it'd be a really cool way for them to learn how to do digital art with me. Champ, any questions about Procreate or any of the things I was talking about?
Not really. All this is like a foreign language to me, but it's really cool that you're able to learn this so quickly. Like, this would take me probably years to like figure this kind of stuff out, honestly, but it looks like really, really cool and stuff like that. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Robbie, I'm sitting here covering, I sit here and cover DC United, and my son is actually going to be playing indoor soccer this spring.
Nice. Actually,
So,
speaking of that, my son and daughter are gonna be playing soccer. My son used to play when he was like 3 or 4, but we stopped and did karate instead. But we found a place that's gonna do one for his age group and her age group at the same time at the same place. And so like I'll watch both of them, and then for the last 10 minutes, she comes over and we watch him scrimmage. Right, so I'm really excited about that as well. But that's
yeah,
awesome. Your
I'm
son's doing
excited. I'm
soccer.
excited to be a soccer dad.
Yeah, we're both gonna be
I
soccer
told him,
dads.
I
That'll
told
be
him, I
simple.
said, please let me know what your schedule is, because I don't plan to miss a single game. If there's a game on a day I'm doing a podcast, I'll move the podcast. I'm going to be at every single game. I
That's
will be that
amazing.
guy. I will be that guy.
Yep, that's great. I love that. So I'm just showing here some cool things that you can do. So you can grab a color and you can drop it into places. Oops, wrong layer. Um, so here, and then I'm gonna drop green into this one. So then there's a background. So you can drop different colors into different segments and different stuff. But this is just showcasing an example of being able to. I'll grab this one right now. And so you can grab any element, right? And so what I want to figure out is, and you can warp it too, which is cool. So you can take it and you can warp a corner, see? So it has almost all the features that you can find in, this is an enhanced mesh, so I can grab from different areas, right? So I can really make him like look like he's looking over here, right? Do you see that? So you can really control the angle in which things happen, and then you could erase away a parts of it, and so you can add blur, you can do freehand stuff, you can draw objects and shapes. So I'll be like playing with all of this tomorrow as I try to like build something cool as a collage for my son, but then also build an animation as well. And it's cool that I have it set so if it's widescreen, I got a lot more room to work live on screen there. But I can also hold it vertically if I want as well. So it live rotates the orientation on stream. So I'm pretty happy that I got this set up and working. Yeah, it'll be fun to do it tomorrow. With that, we are in our final minute until we hit the 6-hour mark. And with that, I'm going to pull up my list of people on. And you know who I think we're going to raid? It's a huge streamer, but it was one of my very first ones that I ever followed. It's my first music streamer that I ever followed. And So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. If you want to, you can grab any of these different graphics and part time. I'm gonna grab that last one for sure, and let me do the raid over to him. And then the raid has been created. So thank you again, everybody, for being a part of the stream. It's been an awesome 3-hour stream. Champ, thanks for co-hosting, and I look forward to doing some art with you in chat over the next couple of days, and really appreciate all of the help that you had through this process. And thank you everyone for tuning in and being a part of the show. It's been super fun. Again, we will be back in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, on April the 7th, when we will be celebrating March Madness championship game. The last couple of weeks for soccer, Defenders, also Wizards, and the last couple of weeks for the Capitals as well. So lots to cover, and any Commanders news that happens, as well as the beginning of baseball is back as well. So lots of sports to cover when we come back in April. Thank you everyone for being so great to me these 9 years. I'm looking forward to season 10. Stay tuned over the next week for these 3 remaining art ones. We got 10 to noon tomorrow. We got noon to 2 on Monday, and then 10 to noon on the following Monday. So Tuesday, Friday, Monday. All right, with that, we're going to head out of here. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Sayonara.